Hi, Nick.
Well, let's have fun tonight. This is
We are we are gonna have fun tonight.
Yeah, unlike every other night.
We're gonna Wang Chung tonight. Remember that? Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Wang.
So
that must be from a movie or a
no,
rap tune.
no, that was like '80s, right? That was like music video. See, and
It's terrible. I'm sorry.
and
I
we're-
should know that.
hey, you're like the music guy, and we're like killing time because I've been told for the like non-subscribers they got to deal with 30 seconds of Buffalo Wild Wings and Charmin or whatever the or Bounty.
Oh, that's right. Are you seeing a commercial? Well, we're not seeing a commercial here, so.
Well, we're subscribers, I think.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I think everyone's on now. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Mechanics Institute live from downtown
San Francisco. And we've got a sad announcement actually in terms of this live commentary is we're going to shelve it. I'm going to go on record in saying we're going to shelve this for a little while, and this will be the last time you'll see Nick and I and Abel on this show, if you can call it a show, until it resumes again in a different form from the Mechanics Institute. While we work on technical issues.
Yeah, so this will be the last broadcast with commentary for a little bit because I'm leaving as chess director of the Mechanics Institute starting next Monday, and in the transition and while a lot of stuff's getting figured out, it's going to be a little bit easier on the workload as we're doing in a lot of changes around here for us to take a little pause on doing the broad, but we're
A rethink.
we'll still be putting the games online. So
The DGT technology will continue.
yeah, for the moment it's still around.
So if you're connected to where do we put our stuff up on
The YouTube.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
So no, but I'm talking about the games, the DGT. Where will people be able to follow the DGT?
Oh, I mean, the link will still be on our event page. So like on the
Live
TNM,
Cloud,
yeah,
Live Chess Cloud.
like on the TNM page. I mean, you can even go to Follow Chess.
Follow Chess.
I actually think it's even on Chess 24.
Chess 24.
So and
We've been on
Juan,
Chess Bomb.
Yeah, we have Juan Sendejas to thank for all of that. So thank you to Juan for hooking us up with all that stuff. So here we are. This is round 4 of the Walder Shipman Memorial TNM. We got some good action at the top, and
Switch over to the internet thing.
oh yeah, so you can see the games in big
Right.
view. There we go. Mike Walder is playing on board 1 against National Master Mike Walder against Edward Lewis. Edward Lewis, a strong expert from Sacramento area, I think, or Judith Series. No, he's from Stockton.
Just sort of an old timer.
Yeah, and he's gunning for Elliot Winslow. He's coming after him, but he's going to have to get through Mike Walder first. And so Mike Walder playing white here. And what do you think of this opening choice for black with Rook B8 and the Queens on A6? What is this? What's going on?
It's a kind of an aggressive looking setup with the rook opposite the king and maybe knight c4 coming in, and it's the kind of I guess if we go back to the beginning, you can see it looks like a kind of a rat defense, what they call.
yes, I was going to say rat.
Good. Nick and I are on the same wavelength. Rat. We're thinking rat.
Well,
here.
you guys were talking about it just a couple of weeks ago, I feel, talking about the rat.
Yeah, see, when black chooses these kind of, what do you call it? Elastic opening developments, where he can decide to move his knight to one square or the other, and may avoid the development of his king side.
I like what Ed's done. It's so single-minded. Put the bishop on g7, heading for b2, the rook on b8, and that knight's going to jump into c4. And he just avoided the queen trade by retreating.
Yeah, I mean, that's really gutsy. Yeah. It's a packed house. Yeah.
Yeah, we got. I expanded the camera a little bit so you could really see inside the.
Oh, cool.
The chess room at the Mechanics Institute.
Yeah, you could pan out a little bit that way. And
I know, and actually, you're only seeing half the room.
Half the room there.
There's a whole other half of people playing. We should have it like swiveled back and forth.
Revolving, like fisheye camera.
360. And
Andreas, you've got to come in and get your chess stuff that John Donaldson dropped off here.
You got the goods.
Even though we're not going to have the live commentary for a while, we're still going to have the chess club.
Yeah,
and the games going on. So come on down and see us.
I had fun today. For lunch, the chess team went out to Sam's Grill, a few blocks away.
I've never been. A famous place.
Along with Jen, our accountant. She's part of the chess team at the Mechanics Institute. And that was kind of fun with those old booths.
Yeah, I felt like, Al Pacino and Al Capone both were going to come in and do something.
Paul and I walk in and, it's this, classic Italian restaurant, right? I don't even know if it's Italian.
I guess, Sam's? I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
Not Guido's or...
Not sure it's Italian, old style San Francisco for sure.
Yeah, they said, the fourth oldest restaurant, surviving restaurant in the country or something like that.
But we walk in and we're sitting in this booth, right? And first thing, I look at Paul and I think we're thinking the same thing. It's like, we think we're about to get whacked, right? at any moment. But the food was delicious, and it was great to hang out. I mean, it was a little bittersweet because it's sort of like farewell lunch a little bit. But it was good hanging out, and I had a good time, and I'm still full from it. Gosh.
Me too.
And ate like a ton of bread.
Rich food.
Yeah.
Lots of bread and butter and good stuff in life.
Adult beverages. And it was fun. And now here we are. Like a good day of chess and hopefully some good games. This was board one.
And look at with Queen takes d2, Black would have an even game, I think. But he decides to be even more gutsy and play Queen a6, and that's a good way to play against an aggressive player.
And that's sort of the I'm coming for you move, right? That's like, I'm not going to trade.
Yeah. I'm a coward. I would have played Queen takes d2.
You would have checked out?
Yeah.
This should be an interesting game. This is on board 2 with International Master Elliot Winslow playing white against Luke Wajaja, who...
Let's go back to the...
He's a 1,700 player, but I think he's like 1,700 going on like 1,900. I mean, he's playing some strong chess.
It's a Roy Lopez. With d4. And now Elliot, this is I've played this line. If Black castles or plays bishop g4, is bishop g4 a mistake here? No. Black could castle, and it would be, but it's getting a little unusual here. And look at this old school sacrifice by Elliot. Wow.
Good compensation for a pawn.
Yeah. In a similar position, Kara's once played queen to d1, forcing the capture on the black pawn to capture on c3, and then just turned it into a gambit that way. But this is a nice way. I like this kind of aggressive play for... And Black plays king f8.
Yeah.
That
If he had castled, what, bishop h6 would have been the move.
I guess, although 98, and it's still, I guess bishop d5 is coming in too. Possibly black has to be careful.
King f8, that means the coordination's bad for quite a while with that
Yeah.
black king and rook.
So, and look at that, cool as a cucumber, our Mr. Winslow.
Rookie one.
Right? A useful move, and leaving the question as to what's going to happen. Black just says, I've been greedy before, and I'm going to continue to be greedy. And now, what's Elliot thinking here?
Played. Knight takes c3.
With definite compensation for the pawn.
Yeah.
2 bishops
Got the king
on castle,
f8,
king.
yeah.
Classic.
That's experience.
What do you
right
think,
there.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm wondering why he's thinking. Is the clock stopped?
No, he took
He
on,
moved.
He took on
Oh, he did.
c3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Knight takes c3.
Right.
And here's board 3, where we have David Askin, solid expert, mechanics veteran, taking on Jaden, who had 2 wins on time, but played both players tough. And then he drew Elliot last week on his birthday. And,
Yeah, on his 15th birthday, drew an international master.
and here's the position, 17 moves deep.
Looks like black will get an isolated pawn. Looks maybe a little better for white there.
And let's take a look at 2 very different personalities here with Kevin Reese and Christian Clemens on board 4. Reese playing white.
Perfect moment for queen g4, but then queen g6. So, black queen d3 is a nice move. At least
You know what? In all these games, I'm asking the players not to trade queens so we have more entertainment. I really like Ed Lewis. He just didn't trade the queens, so we'd have an attacking game.
You got to like talk about all these subtle rook moves and pawn moves, and the queen on the
and
board.
there's always
is
a
action.
And there's always a theme, right? Remember we once talked about that. Like some nights there was some kind of theme, the players were fianchettoing their knights or something like that.
Yes.
And now now it's all about queen moves.
Queens sticking to the board.
Yeah.
All right, and then Daniel Wang taking on Christophe. Bamboo, but Daniel Wang, my gosh, he was an unrated player just like 3 months ago, and he just went 3-0 at the championship quads we just had. I think his rating is like 1900 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the dude was literally unrated just like a few months ago.
And Christophe is a player that's kind of plateaued here. He's a good player. He's a strong expert, right?
Expert, like 2100.
Yeah, 2100. But he still has the flaws that an expert has, which is that he can't beat players like Winslow and is prone to losing to much lower rated players as well, which we've seen with him before.
So
a grandmaster can always offer a draw, right, Nick?
They can try.
And I think this is. Let me fix that real quick because it says 1-0. I know the game's not over. Or am I missing something?
I don't think you are.
Yeah. And this semi, these 2 players. This is the top board in the under 1800. These 2 players are the only perfect scores.
So they're 3-0, both of these guys?
Yeah, 3-0. And Paul, I'm going to let you and Nick take care of it because we have someone whose opponent didn't show up. So I'm going to jump in for a G30 house game, but I'll be back here when that is over.
Come on back.
All right,
boss. All right, and that was my boss, Abel Talamentes. Gonna go play some chess of all things.
It's good. Tonight is Abel's night.
He's gonna go play chess of all things, Nick.
His last Tuesday night marathon as director.
Yeah.
We will sorely miss him, but hopefully he'll be back to play a game like he is now.
Yeah, I mean, he's also, this is a tradition for the tournament director to play in this tournament because John Donaldson used to do the same thing. He used to jump in and play chess.
Yeah, just to make sure somebody had a game.
Yeah. All right, so the threat is bishop c6, and we're waiting to see what Sebi's going to do here. But does black look like he's in danger here, maybe?
Yes, queen a4 was a good move. That's it forces some type of defense. Bishop e4 doesn't quite look right. Maybe rook to c8. But then can you throw in a knight to e5?
Or queen takes a7 even.
Just grab a pawn.
Maybe.
Read, yeah, I like it. Because when you take on a7, b6 is loose.
Could be trouble in River City for black.
Maybe you have to do bishop e4 and well, maybe that's all right. Because something like knight to d2, which hits the bishop, maybe you have time for pawn to a6 and trying to get rid of...
And if knight takes b6, a takes b5.
Oh, well, it depends. Bishop e4, I was thinking the knight on c to d. Maybe you're right, the other knight.
Oh.
Give up b-pawn, wild and crazy stuff.
Nah, that doesn't look right. But you're right, knight e5 looks more natural to go into e5 rather than to go back with the knight to d2, unless it won by force.
Yeah, you're right. It's Ashwin is doing well, I think.
Yeah.
Very clever play.
Okay. Let's run back up to board one, huh? No, here's board one. Walder versus Lewis.
And Mike Walder we know very well, but I'm getting to like Ed Lewis's style.
So after queen a6, white played c3, knight c4. I suppose this is reasonable play.
You open up the B file with black.
And gain the two bishops.
And, okay, white has a solid center, but Lewis has rat on the queen side.
Black just has to move the king knight, the queen bishop, castle, and then double rooks on the B file. That's a lot of moves. That's
true. What does white do in the meantime?
Yeah, that's true too.
Does he start with h4 or g4 and...
But without the king bishop, black should be okay in the fight, I would think.
Yeah, it looks like black's all right in this position.
Against the rat. Well, shall we look at the board two with Winslow and knight d4 was played, trying to grab the bishop at b3, and Elliott just retreats it to d1. This is Zen chess, Nick, I think.
It's hard to give up that nice light squared bishop because bishop pair is part of your compensation for the pawn.
Yeah, but it's just it's it's a move that requires patience and because you've already sacrificed a pawn and confidence that your position is strong in the long run despite that pawn deficit.
How would black had go pawn to c5 and that knight anchored?
Yeah. And then maybe white plays, I don't know, bishop f4, angling for pawn e5 or something.
Yeah, it should be compensation for a pawn with the better king position and good development.
Yeah, like I said, Kara's played a similar gambit in this opening. I like Winslow's wanting to fight, and
Going through the other boards, not so much happened.
This is Askin versus Zhu we're looking at right now.
And just nice classic play by Askin trying to just play against the isolated pawn. I think he's already threatening to take on c5 and trade the light dark squared bishops.
Wait, maybe bishop a5 is almost a threat here. Very unusual, but with the rook on e1, the black queen is compromised.
Yeah, it should be a bit better for Askin.
Yeah.
But we saw young Jaden, how well he played last week, so he's become a tough cookie.
Oh, yeah. And this is Kevin Reese versus Christian Clemens. So after this queen d3, white plays knight a3, queen c4, knight c4. Ooh, I'm not sure about b6, but was black scared of knight a5? Is black scared of knight a5 here? What about just castling on the queen side or something like that?
Yeah.
But then b4 maybe.
You're right. B6 is a little suspicious.
Yeah, it's just a little slow. Black just needs to sort of catch up in development here and it should be okay. Rook d8.
Yeah, it should be okay. At e6, white gets some initiative, maybe pawn f4, f5.
Okay. And here's Daniel Wang versus Christophe Bamboo.
These players are playing a solid game. It'll be hard to break through on the queen side for anybody.
Yeah. Hard to, a lot of pieces are coming off here.
Yeah.
All right. And Sebi is still thinking after queen a4 in this position. So Nick, what are you gonna? With the club going silent a little bit on in terms of our commentary, we're gonna have to rethink about how we get the word out to people in some respects.
I think so. I think, but probably we needed a reboot in the commentary anyway.
A reboot is. I like that reboot. Paul and Nick are getting rebooted. Yeah.
Because there's so much online chess and online commentary
and streaming.
Streaming, yes. So
we need a rethink of the Mechanics Institute and the Chess Club. need a bit of a rethink for this one, but we'll be back.
We will be, yes. But people leaving, just we're going to sit back, figure something else out, and then we'll be back. We've been around for how many years? 168 or something. So we always change a little bit every time.
Well, what I find remarkable as I talk to you, Nick, is that you and I played a tournament game here back in 1977. The longest game that I ever played, 139 moves.
Yeah, that's one of the best ones.
I'm not sure about that. I got lucky. Nick was winning. Okay. I've just been told to keep it down. I'm shouting.
And this Tuesday night marathon, what a tradition. It's great. We games broadcast. Entertainment for American chess players every Tuesday. They can walk in, see our old veterans or the young up-and-comers. Broadcasting the games will just continue. It's in the United States, I guess in St. Louis they have some of the classic tournaments the way the Europeans do. The Vikings is going on now, but the U.S. we have these active clubs.
We're going to Tobiah Rex. We are going to shelve the commentary for a while. We're going to take a hiatus from the Tuesday night commentary. We might do special events if we can get the technical part of that down, and so that's it. We'll still be broadcasting our games on, I guess, Follow Chess and Live Chess and Chess 24 and other places where people can see our boards being played. But the Twitch streaming will stop for a while. We'll be still putting out the newsletter.
Yeah, not much is changing.
Right.
And it's just
yeah, starting. This is our final broadcast, our commentary broadcast for a while, for the foreseeable future.
Now, do you remember was our first broadcast with Wang Zendejas?
We set up one DGT board, I think, in the other room and started streaming from the Skittles room, with all the players playing around us and banging pieces and stuff like that. And it was a little bit of a free-for-all, but it was fun. And so that was the beginnings of our live, starting about a year before the pandemic. Yeah, with one of just one board, one DGT board.
Okay, so made progress, and we will get a better show when we come back. But at least we will continue the games.
Yeah, there were good beginnings, and as you say, Tobiah, and and actually, it's all preserved on YouTube. So there was some. I can't even remember that far back some of the stuff that we did. So 3 years of streaming commentary with Paul and Nick, and different events. I mean, the Caruana was here for, the Rapid Championship, and so there was just all kinds of stuff going on here. Nick and I have bounced around with all kinds of, not just the Tuesday night event, but other events for the chess club, for the mechanics.
And yes, we will certainly come back because it's part of the chess world nowadays. It's that's one thing the pandemic has accelerated. These broadcasts, the streaming, and people seem to like it. So
yeah,
but we we want to do a good show. We do a lot of other things, so maybe we haven't put enough effort into the show. One nice thing is we love the comments from the players, the club members, some of our followers around the country just chime in and say what they're thinking.
Oh yeah, I mean regularly Alexi Root, some really luminaries for sure, as well as
yes, and I don't know if we've advertised it enough, but the Chess Cafe, brainchild of Paul's, that you meet online and people just they like it. You swap stories, you swap games, some puzzles and things, and we do every Monday at 4:00.
I'm gonna try to put the link to that. Oh well. Yeah, if you go to chessroom at milibrary.org, and you can find a place to go and register for and participate in the Chess Cafe. What do you think about this position?
Oh, back to the chess games. Yes, let's have a look. Which game are you thinking?
Walder Lewis.
Lewis, he's still looking to attack. Hoping for e5, bishop f5 check. That's again, white has the center as you do in a wrap defense. Black's got the b file, some sleazy attacking chances.
All right, we'll come back to this. Black plays h5, and actually, I was thinking of this in combination with your move c5.
But I like h5.
I do too. Yeah, it's a nice looking move.
Gets that rook on h8 kind of in the game. Takes some kingside squares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Elliot's got a game on his hands here.
Yeah.
Bishop f4 is still in the cards, or maybe bishop e3.
Yeah, I sort of bishop e3, and if the pawn goes to h4, attacking the queen.
I was thinking
that
putting it back on h2.
Yes, you could. Sort of out of the way there on h2. Why not?
Nick, I got it. This reminds me of Petrosian's mysterious king move in some game. I've got to find that game. It's crazy. I've never seen a move like it. I think it's a chess move you could stare at for, 3 hours and still not understand it. That's. I gotta find. I mean, forget Tony's teasers. This is really a stump you. You know. All right. And this is David Askin versus Jaden Zhu. And like you said, black's going to be left with an isolated queen pawn. D takes c5.
It's just a bit better for the white side.
By the way, did you see? I showed. I did the lecture today, and I showed the game that Geary beat Shankland, and also the game that Carlsen beat Mamedyarov. I think both those games were played today. Did you play over those games by any chance?
I just a brief look. It's
yeah, I thought both games were very instructive. Just in how Carlsen's opponents, like Rapport did before, they just want to go down in a blaze of, possible, they'd rather do that than get ground down. And both of these games were perfect examples of that. And then Shankland's game was like a really good example, I thought, of playing for a draw by exchanging pieces, trying to play for a draw by exchanging lots of pieces doesn't work, even for grandmasters,
People used to do that against Capablanca. They exchange pieces and go down and down till there's almost nothing left.
Right.
But every exchange would just be a little bit better for Kappa.
Oh, and
a little bit better.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happened in this game with Jiri. And finally, White puts his rook up on the third rank to play rook f3, and Black has kind of run out of ideas, except didn't get a sure draw, and then just kind of lashes out, and it's too late at that point. It's like he never got his strategy right from the beginning just didn't get him anywhere.
Well, I have to say, Yuri is playing really good chess in this tournament. It's like he's got some new life breathed into his game. He's it's not the old drawish Geary. He's fighting hard all the time.
Yeah, and Carlsen, I mean, is making a little stab here at 2,900. Of course, a couple of draws will, make that impossible. But it's fun to watch.
So, Paul, do you think he'll make 2,900? He said it's a goal, but that's so high.
I don't think he will, because apparently he had to score 9 out of, or he had to score a certain percentage, which was quite a bit, just to score 1 rating point.
I know, you draw with some 2,600 Potzer and you just lose a ton of rating points with his ratings.
But I don't think he'll do.
Player like Gadir, and
yeah, I don't think he'll do it. But I think he should try to do it, and I'm not going to say it's impossible. He was at 2889 or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly one of the very best ever, not the best ever. So. And this is, what other goal can he have?
Right. Wait till one of these young chess players is strong enough to take him out, and that could be sooner than he would,
Eventually they come up.
Yeah.
There's Ferrugia, but there's others. It's always a new generation. But yet, here again, Magnus there, he's in the lead. He's
I wonder how he'd do in the Tuesday night marathon.
well, some events too tough for him, but
Judith's laughing. All right, this must be an even game, I guess. I don't think White has to be careful, probably not to play knight d6 and give up the knight for the bishop, which probably would favor. Although now might be an interesting time to do it. Nah.
okay, well, with that Christian Good getting his rook into the game, so
Must be equal position.
yes, and you tend to think, oh, might be a little better for White, but on that E5 pawn could be a little exposed.
Agreed.
If the Black King can come up to E6. So yeah, and Christian's a good endgame player. So yeah, he's a very solid player too. Doesn't get into trouble that much.
Okay, so let's see. Well, White has to play for e4, I suppose. But in the meantime, Black will probably get an e5. So what do you think? Is Black a little better here?
Black can't be worse. It's true.
Yeah.
Because all those pawns are on white squares on the queen's side.
And this is Sebi's game.
Which, yes, we have to see it. Oh, there, Sebi played rook to c8, and you had said, grab that a-pawn. Just greed overall.
Maybe grabbing the a-pawn is no good.
Oh, but I like it. I like it. It's if you grab the a-pawn and Black goes pawn takes d4, what's happening is grab the queen takes a7, pawn takes b4, bishop on b5. It's kind of hanging the knight on c4. And then you could go pawn takes d4, queen a7, pawn d4, knight b takes b6, queen takes b5, knight takes c8.
Bishop to b4 check.
Bishop to b4 check, bishop to d2. Crazy position.
Take on e3.
Take on e3. Pawn takes it back. Maybe Black castles.
Yeah.
And for an exchange, that's a lot of play.
Yeah. All right, let's move up to board one.
When we come back, Paul, it would be really nice to be able to move the pieces on the board and show the possible variation.
Well, I think that's one way that's one of the things that we can discuss in technology as our in-house technology improves. There's certainly upgrades that we can make to the way that we're doing things here right now, and I think that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about in the future, of course.
Like this Ed Lewis, he just plays with a few pieces, plays well with them.
So is the queen going to come behind the rook?
Well, I would really like to get that rook on H8, B8. If you can do that, you get this, this supercharged attack. So you go playing bishop E6, king D7, and
yeah, black needs more. Black needs to throw more wood into the fire.
yeah.
Okay, so still an interesting game, and here's the Winslow game. So after H5, Elliot swung his queen over to D3. And black played knight E6, keeping it solid rather than playing pawn C5. And white plays bishop E3.
Yeah, and pawn up, but if white can get in bishop F3, rook to D1, suddenly he just gets some organic threats.
And black is still got to figure out how to bring the rest of his pieces into the game.
Yes.
You need a Korchnoi to play this for black, I think.
Yeah, a little difficult. You're gonna have to figure some maneuvers. You do knight to D7, so you stop E5, but allow white knight D5.
All right, what about pawn G5?
Aha. Okay, going for the gusto.
Yeah, so you can play king G7.
Okay. Pawn to G5. And then you certainly don't want to go bishop F3 for white, because pawn G4 starts to pick up the king side. So, pawn G5. Maybe we go on to A4, and open that side. On to B4.
And then knight to D5.
Knight to D5. But still, pawn G5. Get the king to G7. Maybe the black bishop will end up coming to F6.
These are desperate times, Nick.
Yeah, I like your pawn G5. At least if you're going to go down, you're going to go down slugging. It's hard to otherwise think of a really good plan for black.
All right. I'm moving on to David Askin, who is still thinking about his move against Jaden Zhu after Queen B6.
Yeah, like so much thinking.
Okay, and then Kevin Reese versus Christian Clemens. This must be fine for black.
On to B5.
That's a little strange, but did I buy myself? I bought myself some chewing gum, Nick, and I'm going to have a little piece of chewing gum.
Yeah. No cigarettes on the broadcast.
Oh, I stopped smoking years ago. But, oh boy, that would have been funny to have chess commentators with smoking. I wonder if any of the streamers does that on Twitch. It might be illegal to do that on Twitch,
All
right?
the movies, they write it like violence and mayhem and smoking.
Right. Which I guess is like self-mayhem, like, although you are causing problems for people around you too. But I wonder if there are any streamers that smoke and drink, have a pint of vodka next to them or something, right? While they're streaming and it's just a funny idea.
Well, there's nothing illegal about it. They might advertise this is adult content. People smoking, drinking vodka, playing chess like tall. Yeah, that was just the typical chess world 30, 40 years ago.
Back in my day, I mean, we're looking at the chess club. That used to be a cloud of cigarettes and cigar smoke in there, and even pipe smoking. Sometimes at the same time. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, which of the games is looking...
I'm looking at Daniel Wang and Christophe Bamboo. This is kind of going in Black's favor a little bit, I think. But still probably within the draw zone.
Yeah, Black's just, again, slowly, a little bit better. Maybe still in the draw zone, but...
And, whoa, look what we have, Nick, in the Sebi game.
Just as we predicted.
This is a real violent slugfest going on here. Both kings are in the middle of the board. Wow.
Yeah. And, I like that Black has developed this piece. Young Sebi's starting to play really good chess.
The bishop at b5 is under attack, and bishop b4 check is threatened. So this rook c8 is maybe working out.
Maybe you should go back queen to a4.
What's going on?
Did you finish your game?
I did.
How'd you do?
I won.
Hey,
Yeah, I
congratulations, boss.
Well, see, this is the thing where, when you play a player that missed a discovery, it's things go a little bit better than they did last week, for example, when you're playing an expert that's strong. But
you had your chances in that game, although the opening you got.
Yeah, I had my chance on move 4, and then I missed it, and then by move 6 I was lost. But how are the games here?
Sebi is fighting back. We were just admiring this game. Look at the two kings in the middle and the open lines
Yeah,
and
look at that.
attacking. Yeah,
I think
this is a dramatic game here.
and I think Sebi is a student of Grandmaster Steven Zurich now.
Oh, good,
So-
good,
Yeah,
good.
I know you wanted to take his game to the next level.
It's
Yeah.
time. It's time.
So, yeah, interesting game.
Yeah,
Good matchup.
this is a good fighting move. What do you think, Nick?
Hey, Tobiah.
As I said, he's got all his pieces working. That's that bishop b4 check coming. So nice play.
Okay, so let's see. Let's move on down the highway. and Michael Walder. And look at this, Bishop E6, and he's gonna play your idea, Nick. I think of King D7 and Rook
Holy cow.
HB8.
Well, you can't get the king over to the king side, and I don't think you want it there. So, yeah, I like the Trojans.
I'm just gonna say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Richard.
Actually, you want to do a couple minutes?
Yeah, I can do a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
Yeah.
So you're just doing analysis again?
Yeah, we're just sitting here blabbing with Nick. Nick is here. You got, but to be seen. This is Richard Kepke visiting.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Richard.
But he can't. If
Oh.
you scoot over a little bit,
Okay.
we can all see you. But it's
Yeah.
okay. Richard
Yeah, well,
Kepke.
I haven't got my computer glasses, so I can't really see things too well. Oh,
Okay.
well.
Well,
So you're looking at one of the games.
Walder versus Ed.
Oh, this is an
Lewis.
old one.
No, this is being played right now.
Walter Shipman had. Oh, this is the Walter Shipman Memorial, right?
Yeah, no, Walter Shipman Memorial Tournament.
Yeah.
In the next room, we've got Michael Walder playing Ed Lewis on board one, and this is the position.
Okay. And Black just played Bishop E6.
Yeah. What do you think?
Wow.
Maybe before Black plays King D7, White should play E5.
Yeah, but then that if you do that, don't you just lose control of your attack essentially?
I don't know, where is White supposed to be attacking here?
H5.
All right,
maybe.
I guess King D7.
And yeah, I can see it's gonna be hard to get at the king from there.
Also, the Black Rook swings over to BA, and
Yeah. So I can play King H1, King A1, and Rook B1, Rook B1 to defend, right?
then you get knocked out by Queen takes A2 check and
Oops.
Rook A6 and A.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's right. Oh man.
Maybe White has to defend with some Rook on the second rank and Knight on C1 or something.
That might be possible. You know, he can also bring his queen back, though I'd hate to do that.
I'd be really happy with this if I was black so far. Maybe. What do you think, Nick?
I think White has to be careful. Yes, it's you give Black one move and you get these tack because of that B5.
Yeah, I just don't think E5 is going to do anything. I mean, the knight moves away, and then what? You
Knight
know?
F4. Maybe.
Yeah, then King D7. I'm going to launch a take
Well,
on
the
E6.
knight's gonna. Where's the knight gonna go on E5?
So pawn to E5, you go knight to H5.
Ooh, knight. Oh, okay. You
Yeah, just give up the
yeah,
pawn,
I
yeah.
see.
Knight takes knight.
Oh gosh,
H5.
Nick. Bishop F5, King A1, Queen A2 check.
Right.
So the king can't go to A1, it has to go to D1. And then maybe you capture the knight on A5, maybe you take the pawn on A2.
Yeah, maybe. Just
And,
maybe.
Yeah, that's a piece sacrifice because of knight G7 check, but quite an attack on the queen side.
Yeah.
But E5, I wouldn't want to play on the white side. Just-
Yeah. So maybe
Okay, guys, stop ganging up on me. No.
maybe you have to play
H.
knight. Maybe you really do have to play knight F1, knight C1. You know.
Yeah, put your house in order.
You
I
know,
guess.
eliminate that sack.
All right, let's roll on to Elliot Winslow's game. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I can leave if you're worried about the
Nah,
coffee.
no, I'm not worried.
Oh, Richard, were you used to work in the city and come in?
Yeah, in fact, they're going to make us do it again eventually. maybe in April.
You'll be here.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be great.
Well, I mean,
Close by.
Close by, within walking distance.
That's fantastic.
So I can maybe play or give some analysis, during those days. But so we're looking at here. This looks like a perk of sorts. No, it's not a perk. It's a Sicilian.
No,
No,
actually, it was a
Sicilian.
Roy Lopez, but
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
close.
that's right. Yeah, well, there's an E5 pawn missing. I should know that. Yes. Wow.
No, it's not easy to always
Yes.
tell what opening things came
Yeah.
from. But Black's been thinking for a long time, and we were looking at pawn to G5, possibly. At least that was the ridiculous move that I suggested.
It's not a ridiculous move, right? I mean, these days that kind of attack is normal.
Okay, so let's keep rolling down here. This is okay. So White finally took on C5, and it looks like Black's ready to give up a pawn. I guess. Oh, Bishop F6 94. Yeah, Black is Bishop F6 94.
Queen takes D5.
Queen F2 check, followed by Knight F6. So that's not working.
Oh, okay. Bishop F6, 94, rook takes C4.
Wow, see, Nick right away gets. Why does he always do that? He gets right to the point, and well, okay, yeah, rook takes E4, and if D takes E4, Bishop D4.
Looks like good for one.
Yeah, okay. So Bishop F6 is just kind of winning a pawn, huh? Although Black might get some activity.
Well, how are you
Yeah.
taking back? Well, we did take. So you're taking back with the G pawn, or
Oh, you gotta take with the queen.
well then, but then Queen takes D5 comes with a threat.
Well, G takes Queen D5, and
Yeah.
you may not have a threat, but you've destroyed your
Pawn structure.
pawn structure.
Right.
I mean, unless you do have something cheap and good and right away.
I'm just thinking that White has the initiative in addition to his pawn.
I think Black just needlessly gave up a pawn back here after G takes C5. Why doesn't he just play take on C3
And then Queen takes.
and then Queen C5?
Right.
Or Knight C5. Either
Right.
one. At least you don't have to right away give up a pawn. Is there something wrong with my analysis there, Nick? Probably.
Oh, yeah.
What were you saying?
Bishop-
Bishop F6 and then?
Well, what about Bishop takes C3 here? Or Queen takes C5? What about just Queen C... Oh, Bishop B4? Then you can move the Queen and... What's wrong with Queen takes C5 or Bishop C3 and then Queen C5? Why
Yeah.
should you give up a pawn so easily?
Yeah, so you just have to calculate whether.
This
But-
is just not working.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to the next game, even though that's not nearly... And Black gave up the pawn at A7 for the pawn at A2.
Yeah, it looks dynamically balanced. It's aggressive play even in the endgame.
Yeah, this is. I kind of like Black, but
Well,
he's got a possible pass.
just out
pawn.
of curiosity, how's that bishop getting out? So they play C5 here, then what? They play Knight B7 maybe?
Ooh, that's a good question. Then King C6.
Yeah. So you get.
On the C5, excellent.
Yeah, that's a crazy looking thing, actually. What about King E4? Trying to then Knight C3 check prevents King D5.
Or even Knight B4, one or the other.
Yeah, Knight B4.
Also keeping the king out.
And the threat is Bishop D8. So, although that can be met by Knight B7. So
But then
it's,
King C6, right?
well, then C5 is hanging.
No, because your king and bishop are holding it.
No,
right?
well, I've played bishop d8.
Oh,
so
okay. I see. Right.
I don't know.
But C5 seems the best winning try for black.
Yeah. So what brings you to the Mechanics Institute Chess Club?
Donating some books.
Oh, you did?
Yep, I have some old.
Where are they?
They're right over there. I have some old informants that
Okay. Oh,
you know,
yeah.
these days you can get it online, so I think you can get it where we need to hold on to these things.
Yeah. We've had so many.
Richard, right here.
Yeah, look. Plus, you can look on the shelves out there. In fact, you may even be able to see in the far end. We can see in
Well, I
the
would
far
assume-
left corner. There's a whole shelf full of informants. But
I would assume-
the more the merrier.
Yeah, I figured, what the hell, I'm not using them, so you might as well, somebody might want
Yeah.
them. So what's the next game out of curiosity?
This is Daniel Wang versus Christophe Bamboo, and yeah, black's got to be better now, for
Yeah.
sure. And finally, the Sebi Suarez game.
Oh, they did play the exchange sacrifice.
This is just, Queen B. This is Nick's and I analysis. Except for he didn't take on E3.
So just castled
He
instead?
just castled instead. But doesn't that allow... what do you think of this, Nick?
Where is that knight going?
Knight d4 is met by bishop d2 check and queen d3 and rook c8.
Or maybe you have to go rook to C1 to guard the knight on C8. And
then g takes e3 can be met by queen e3, I suppose.
yeah, so maybe you don't want to do that.
You could play
Little white can't castle. So
you could play bishop d2, and if knight d2, queen b2. Attacking the rook at c1. We're going to find out. These players are following...
Bishop c5 now, right?
Ooh, that's a great... Oh, then queen a5? But then you
just take the queen and take the knight then, right?
you're pinned on the c file.
Oh, so then b4?
But you're threatening bishop b4 check.
Right. Well, no, because the bishop is still on
Yeah,
b2.
but the rook is unprotected. Oh, it is? No, you exchange on a5.
Oh, right. Then bishop b4 check. That's
Okay,
right.
so wait a minute. What are we looking at here? Bishop c5. Of course, white can always play rook c5.
Yeah, that just gives up. Okay, then you just get your exchange back. That's right.
And that might be good for white, but it might not. I don't know. Knight e7 check. The knight can come out with a check. This is a complex. This requires
Well, no,
Nick.
you don't want. Matter of fact, even knight c5 right away might be good. I mean, isn't that knight d3 a check?
Ooh, how about knight c5? Yeah.
You know, with similar threats, only this time when you sack the exchange, you have to give up. You have to move your queen.
What do you think, Nick? That's my favorite thing to
Knight
say now.
C5
What do you
is-
think, Nick?
Knight C5 is a world of complications and a really aggressive move. Should be the one you look at.
Okay, so I'll be a spoil sport. I'll play knight takes d4,
But I'm thinking knight d3 check.
and then I go king f1.
And
And then black can get black could actually play knight takes c1 check, knight b5. Yeah.
Well, knight C5, knight D4, which you probably throw in bishop takes D2 check.
Yeah.
King takes D2, queen B2.
or
King has to go to D1.
then knight d3 check. Oops.
It's not checked with the king on d1.
Oh, right.
But you are threatening knight takes f2 mate.
Well, it's not
Yeah,
mate. but it's bad.
Yeah.
Or maybe just simply take the knight on c1 at c8 at the end of all that. So knight takes d4, bishop takes, king takes, queen takes b2 check, king d1, knight takes c8, right? And
What's the move? What's the first move? Knight c5.
knight c5, right?
Yeah.
You're saying knight d4,
Yeah.
and then bishop takes d2 check.
Okay. Yeah, this shouldn't work for black. I
King,
mean, for white, I guess.
king
yeah.
takes d2, right? Then queen takes d2 check, as Nick suggested. King goes, what, to d1?
Has to.
And then rook takes c8.
Well, we could take your knight on c5, the end of all that. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, but queen.
I think
queen
black
one
should have a winning position there.
It's not so clear because you can't take the rook on c5, right? There's a queen a8 check. So you don't want to.
What if I play knight e4 after queen b2, king d1? Did knight on f to e4? How is white going to survive this attack?
Oh, you're threatening queen d2 mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is the best game I've ever seen Sebi play. Really impressive.
Okay, but he hasn't made his move yet. Let's look at
knight c5.
this move. So knight f4, king g7 has been played.
Well, rook d2.
Oh, rook d2 and queen a3. That's a little bit of an odd one.
Well, he's threatening queen takes c3.
Oh yeah,
right?
queen takes c3.
So I'm not sure why he played. Well, just to get the rook out, I guess.
So Michael didn't play queen takes c3.
Maybe because of rook c2. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure why he played king d7 other than to get the other rook into the game.
Black's playing an aggressive game, a good game. But king a1 is going to force the queen to move. So something is wrong here with the way black has played this. If he was going to play queen a3, he should have taken here on c3. Because now white can just play king a1 and force the queen to move again.
Right.
But then
That is a beautiful pawn on c3.
But then the problem for white is, has he really gained with king a1? Because the rook, now black can play rook a6.
Well, yeah, but he can't, right? He has to move his queen first.
Yeah, to a5.
Okay.
Yeah, this is puzzling. What do you think, Nick? This is puzzling.
I would have taken on c3.
Yeah, I'm finding this puzzling. And Michael's is saying what I said, that what about this? The queen has to move. And black is lost a move, unless king a1 is actually a bad square.
Doesn't look like it to me.
Well, say, okay, queen a4.
Or a5? What's better?
I like a4.
Okay, cool.
Well, maybe, okay, they both have a...
On a5, you're attacking c3
yeah.
still. What's white going to do?
Well, I mean, what's black's threat? Black's going to double on the a-file?
He's waiting for rook b1. We're all waiting for white
Rook
to play
B1.
rook b1.
One, right.
Though we don't need Mikhail Tal.
But, if he just plays proactively, I mean, What if you just play A3 in that situation? It looks kind of stupid, but
And then black plays for the sacrifice on A3 with the rook B3 move or something.
yeah.
So queen A5 for black, what's the defense for white?
I was just thinking, supposing, so he's going to play rook B8 after that, right?
Yes, is queen A5 next move, rook B8 almost no matter what.
Right. So what if I play A3 so that I get some lift for my king when you double?
Gosh.
So rook to B8 comes and you're threatening rook takes B2.
Yeah. Okay. And I play rook to B1 in that situation.
Okay, and then we play rook B3.
And I play king A2.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
I mean, you have to get one more piece in this in order to get this attack to work, right?
That was one of the players.
Oh.
Well, I like your defense, Richard. We're just holding the squares. And
We're going to move on because one of the players is
Popped in?
circulating nearby.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yes.
oh, Richard, just on that note, queen A5, pawn A3, rook HB8, rook B1, rook B3, king A2. So then we go rook B6 with the idea of rook to A6.
And then threatening the sack, yeah.
okay. This is the Winslow game. And it's the same story that it's ever been. White has compensation for the pawn, and black played C5 instead of our G5. And Elliot has struck back with pawn to pawn to A4. I can assume black's going to play B4, possibly C4, and then knight D5. But all right, let's look at Askin
Holy mackerel.
Jaden Zhu.
Okay,
And
this is the-
this is what we thought. If black can find a tactic here, then bless his heart. But at this point, I'm not sure that I see anything. At the moment, white is a pawn up. This is a Carlsen. This is the kind of position that I was talking about, Nick, where both Rapport and Mamedyarov decided not to get tortured to death and just, went out in a blaze of glory against Carlsen. Positions that could have been, ground out in another 30 moves. They decided to just say whatever. And
Well, I mean, this position rook FD8, right? Where does the queen has to go somewhere?
queen of G5, maybe.
Yeah, and then what? You just trade and take your pawn and beat your up opponent at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really... I guess maybe queen to B2?
And queen D4.
No, but rook D8 first?
Then queen G5, queen B2.
Oh, then queen D2. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I guess, this is it. Black's thrashing around and,
Yeah, but black's up a pawn, right? No, he's down a pawn.
He's down a pawn, yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't have anything, right?
Probably not. Okay. And this is Kevin Reese versus Christian Clemens. Black has not played the C5 idea.
Yeah, I thought that was good. That was...
Yeah, it was a good suggestion, Richard. All right. And this game is white is going to blockade the entire board, and then black won't be able to do anything. Hey, it's a possibility.
Yeah. I think it's a little unlikely he's going to be able to do that, though. Of course, then you got to ask yourself, what is black gonna do here?
Yeah, I still say this game sort of looking on the drawish side, but black is better.
Well, I mean, white's got a big pawn on c3. You should be able to exploit that.
So he's got an extra pawn.
Yeah, the problem is, yeah,
Okay, this classic game here.
so he played
Oh, Sebi, I think, it was better to play knight c5.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the flaw in the ointment
I think we
here?
decided rook c5 is how he gets out of this, right?
Well, there's still queen a. What's queen a5 can be met by takes, and rook takes c8.
Right.
And now, is there a way for white to exploit? Yeah, he can play pawn to b. Oh, he can't play pawn to b4. So he's got a castle or something. Can black do something there?
Well, white can't castle, right? Because so
Well, pawn means queen a5, queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, rook takes e.
and then
Eight.
castles. All right.
Is castles the good move, or is there something better? I mean, I guess he can play. The threat is bishop b4, I suppose.
Yeah, but aren't you a piece down and all that? No, you've got 2 pieces for a rook. Okay, right. You have 2 pawns, so yeah. Right, so queen a5 takes queen takes a5, bishop takes castles, right? Rook's
Well, no, queen a5 takes, bishop takes, rook takes c8.
right. Then
Is that any good?
castles, right, to avoid the check.
Black can take on e3, I suppose. Although that's risky, right? Because of b4.
Well, with your bishop. Oh, that's right. Yeah, just so I'm thinking black just plays rook, so he can't.
Rook to a8, attacking the bishop at a5.
Yeah, but then
What do you think, Nick? It's complicated. Well,
Plus, rook to a8 at the end of all that.
okay, so he played knight d4 instead.
Okay.
And that
knight
has
d4.
something to be said for it too, right? I mean, bishop a7, knight b5. Maybe this is just a refutation. Almost. Well, queen takes b2.
Yes, I mean this. I like knight c5 better than bishop c5.
Yeah, it's too bad
Um,
Sebi didn't play that.
well, that knight's trapped, right? So you can play bishop takes, and then knight takes, and then bishop c5 back again. Oh, but you just play b4. Okay.
What?
I was just trying to find a way to win that knight on c8.
I'm trying to find, yeah.
Oh, that black bishop was active on b4. So, yeah, this is sort of the turning point of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure I see anything for black now.
Because queen takes b2, probably you can just go rook takes c5.
Right.
But okay, queen takes b2, rook takes c5, knight to e4.
Castles, I guess.
Okay, so you can take your rook, we can take your bishop, but only one of them.
Right. I mean,
If we take your rook, oh, knight e7 check, or bishop c1.
But what if on rook takes c? So let's see. Your queen takes b2, rook takes c5. What if we just play knight takes c5 in that position?
And if the queen takes...
then queen
And
takes
now
d2 check.
And now knight e4.
No, queen d2 check. And then knight e4.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's actually better.
and
And what's the material? Black's up a piece?
let's count carefully here.
I'm just guessing that black's up a piece there.
I think not.
I think it's even, right?
I think white's up a pawn.
Yeah, he's up the A2 pawn. Yep. But it's a pretty variation.
So yeah.
Let's look at one more time. Queen takes b2, rook takes c5, knight takes c5, queen takes c5. Any other move? Queen c1 is coming. That's
Well, you could try.
If you try knight e4, he plays queen c1.
You could then trade and play rook takes c8, but then I guess he just castles in that line. Yeah. But at least you're only down a pawn when you do all that.
maybe said he can hold the pawn down position, but oh man, it was almost a brilliancy if he'd gone knight c5.
So queen b2, rook c5, knight c5, queen c.
Queen c5.
You know, white can throw a knight e7 check first if he wanted to.
Right. And then snap off the bishop on f5. Yeah.
No, then knight d3 check. So that's not that clear.
Oh. Let's see. Rook takes. Knight takes. Queen takes. Knight c5. Well,
Rook c5, knight c5, knight e7 check, king h8, then castles.
And the same thing, right?
It's still a pawn up for white.
So white returns the exchange and remains a pawn up is the story of this.
yeah. Though, you know, black has drawing chances, right? Because white's kind of passive and all that.
Yes, yes. So, okay, Sebi might still hold the game, but he was on his way to a brilliancy.
So is there any other move for white here that's I guess the queen's attacked. You must be thinking of queen a5 or something, but that's too risky, I think. Yeah, there's too many pieces hanging. Looks like rook c5 is practically forced. Is there any other move that, yeah, but I mean, white's got this knight e7 check too that bails him out.
Yes. So, yeah, he with rook c5, he's fine, but if he doesn't play rook c5, looking
Yeah, I mean,
wrong.
yeah, this is, yeah, it's still some muddy waters to navigate. Here's Walder Lewis.
So he took and played e5.
This was a critical tempo loss for black. This queen a3 without queen takes c3.
Yeah, but he still has. I mean, you know. Oh, that can't be right.
Well, maybe the knight goes to c7 and then to b5, and the rook comes over to b8, and or some version of that. White wins totally on the king's side and gets mated on the queen's side.
And he's thinking like you did. That's
Yeah, but he's giving up a tempo here, so black can arrange a defense.
You mean
Right.
white
White can arrange a defense here.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that black has lost some time, but he still has still has a position.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for example, I can play knight e2. I can play knight e1, knight c1 here, right? And it's going to be very hard for you to mate me at that
Well,
point.
I can double rooks and play queen takes c3.
C3.
So there's cheapos. There's cheapos all over the place, I think.
I'm liking Black's position. That's
I mean, that knight is out of play now, but if it comes into b5 or something, it's going to be in play.
I mean, what play can White get on the king's string with? Pawn to h5, you take maybe the queen takes or something, then knight c7.
And rook's b8, and then bombs away.
Well, does White get an attack? If
It's really slow, right?
pawn to h5,
Well, what if I just ignore it, just play knight c7?
Well, then White
Takes-
might be getting a new queen.
Uh,
H takes g6.
okay, yeah, so maybe you take it first. Oh,
Now he's solving his problems in a different way. He's throttling. He's slowing down the whole
initiative,
thing.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to Elliot's game for a second.
ooh, I like this move of Ed Lewis, pawn to g5.
You were talking. Yeah, we were talking. I mean, that's a standard way to slow everything down, right? But what happens on queen g5?
Well, then the white rook on h1 doesn't get in the game at least.
Yeah.
So you just quickly, knight c7, rook b8, play for mate, see if you can.
Yeah. Although the queen at h7 might help with the defense, or not.
Okay. Let's try that one. Queen g5, knight c7, queen g7, rook b8. Queen takes h7, so
Yeah. Principled play on all sides, right?
And then followed up with queen b1, you mean?
Queen c2, or actually the queen could be on b1 or c2, maybe ready to give up the queen for. I mean, we're going to see.
And then you have an h pawn that's going to run up the board very quickly.
We're gonna see it happen in real time, folks.
Well,
I like Black's attack. What do you think, Nick?
no, it's great play by both sides. They're both. Yeah, I love it. They're both going for it.
All right.
Queen g7, rook b8, queen h7, knight to b5, threatening knight c3.
And notice that if rook a6, White could play a3, and then knight b5, threatening knight a3, or knight c3. You only need one rook on the b file at that point.
yeah.
That could be vicious. It's a lot of attacking ideas.
All right. Ed Lewis may be headed for a knockout. Uh-oh. I think Black has made a blunder here. This looks like he's losing a piece. What happened? A4, C4, Queen C2.
That can't be good.
That looks wrong.
Yeah.
Although E5, I mean, maybe Black should play pawn to B4 here, but then knight D5 looks strong. I think Black's position's falling apart. It looks to me like C4 was wrong. And maybe the move C5 before that was wrong, too.
No, C4 is probably fine. Maybe
You think so?
Yeah, not C4, but I mean, yeah. Maybe the follow-up here is not good.
Well, I mean, what happens if you play B4, I play knight D5.
Well, right now you're not threatening anything, right?
Well, White's letting me take on B5,
Yeah, okay.
I guess.
So, I mean,
Well, he plays queen a5, bishop f3, and this threatens e5. What is black thinking here? He takes there?
no, yeah.
What's going on here?
It's a tilt.
That's a tilt, yeah. Okay. I think Elliot's collecting an easy point here. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, no, it was dangerous for Rujaba
Yeah.
all throughout.
I think
On
c5 is a mistake here. It's playing on the wrong side of the board.
yes, on to G5. It's that plan, the Paul Whitehead plan. It looked good.
Paul Whitehead plan. All right. Askin versus Jaden Zhu. So this happened. The queen b2, queen, and then the queen goes back. That's good strategy. The knight sits strongly on d3, and the white queen is now via v the rook. Queen e3 looks like a natural move.
Yeah, except there's no crushing discovery.
You're taking
right?
on a7. I like queen e3. It just makes sense.
Just get out of the way, you mean?
And threatens queen a7.
Okay.
Yes, queen e3 is nice. And on to a6, then you can kick the bishop away,
With a4, yeah.
or maybe a knight d4.
Yeah.
Oh no, not knight d4.
I don't think you want to play a6 in that position, right?
Yeah, I mean, because a4 would just knock the...
Would be you need a6 for your rook for your bishop.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, of course, white's better. Let's
Yeah.
go to Kevin Reese and Christian Clemens.
Oh, and traded bishops. That's
Still looks like it's a tough fight here.
Well, that white knight would sit very nicely on c5.
Right. And if knight a6, then the knight goes to d6, where it looks pretty good, too. And
Yeah, so Kevin's getting a bit of an edge in this knight ending. His,
tricky.
inside pawns were more mobile than that c pawn.
And better king position. All right. And Daniel Wang versus... Okay, so... I mean, I don't like White's game, but...
I don't like black's either, right? I mean, he's better, but he's not winning anything.
Well, he has a hope on maybe one or two files on the king side. But that's basically it. And maybe black could play a5 at some distant future. Meanwhile, white
Or maybe
just
G3 and
holding
something.
on here.
Yeah, but I mean, white can just move his king off the G file, and then you're basically attacking on one file, right? It's very hard to do anything there.
Yeah. And this has happened, Nick, in the Sebi game. White did take on c5 with the rook. The knight took, and white decided to check on e7 first,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and then took on c5. And now, I guess black's only hope here is to play queen takes d2 check.
Yes.
Or else he's just going to be a piece
Down.
down.
Yeah. But, he's, oh man.
Is this going to be 2 pawns down?
Yeah, because white will take twice on f5.
Oh, yes. And
Well, no, check takes, right.
Yeah, and on knight e4 check, you could even put the king. You could put the king on c2 maybe.
But it probably stands well on e2.
Yeah,
And then you take the bishop on f5 and play rook c1, kick the knight. Then you take the pawn on f5, just nice two-pawn
Yeah,
opposition.
2 pawns ahead. Ooh.
An almost great game from Sevi. You're seeing him improve every tournament. Any other move? No, White's about to castle.
Or play knight g6 check.
Well, the only other move I can think of is you play bishop d3, right? But I mean,
Knight g6.
or queen c1 even. Just get your.
I see knight g6.
Oh, knight
takes.
g6 check, right?
Well, then queen f8, king h7, and maybe the king gets cornered. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Okay, Sevi, we're trying to save your game, but we don't see it. Let's move back up to Walder Lewis. Man, this is scary.
Scary stuff. All those black pieces on the queen side, looking for tactics.
Yeah. Our favorite, of course, is rook b1, queen takes a2.
Oh, there's no
It
need
never
for-
gets old. It never gets old.
But it's not required here because he's not threatening to take on b2 yet.
Right.
Well, or is he? No, he's not because the knight on e2 is holding the c3 pawn.
Okay, so let's say if I give black. Okay, so black wants to play rook. The danger is that he forces white to play a3 and then comes crashing in on a3.
You know, the queen should have been on a4 because maybe he can play rook c2
Hey,
and try to hold
that
the position.
g5 move is looking better and better and better. I mean, white's just way behind on any. So he's going back to the h7 pawn. Isn't that a trip?
No, that loses. That's got to lose.
I don't know. The queen might be very well placed on h7 to defend over there.
Yeah, but here you have to. I mean, now rook a6, right?
It does look strong.
Rook a6, knight to c1.
Knight to c1 just in time.
And then knight to b5.
Threatens to take on c3.
Queen can come back to e3.
It's funny how the queens are wasting time on both sides of the board. You know, the white queen is wasting time on the king side and the black queen wasting time on the queen side.
You have to come up with a very creative attacking idea for black.
All right, so let's find it.
Okay, if rook a6, knight c1, is there any other follow-up there? That knight's a good defender.
Yeah, well, I don't have any pawn leaders, and I guess knight c5.
And on knight b5, queen e3, and you're sort of like, what then, right? You could play knight a3, but that doesn't even threaten anything, or does it? No.
No, it doesn't threaten a thing. You just can't take it. That's all.
Do you see anything, Nick?
No, it's
It's odd. All this concentration of forces on the queen side, and yet.
Well, what if we throw c5 in and just try to force?
I think that's.
Well, so I mean, rook a6, knight c1, and then c5. The idea is the idea is to eventually try to get c3 in.
It's
Yeah, that's actually probably a good move. Yeah.
They'll have to take on C5.
I think he has a take, right? And the queen hasn't come back yet, so maybe we can play d4 at that point. Well, maybe not.
Well, if you take on c5, I play knight c5, and then I've got knight b3 check.
Right. So maybe you have to play queen a3 right away anyway, right, in order to defend.
Oh, let's let the players rack their brains over this one, shall we? And move on to Elliot's game.
Well, this game is... What
And he's
happened?
a bishop ahead. I have faith in Elliot when he's the bishop ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
an amazing... Yeah. Luke just fell apart here. Okay. David Askin. Whoa.
What happened here?
Wow. Played rook b1, and now we've got a great swindle with knight b2.
He missed that queen to e3 and Jaden scored. And it's still maybe about even after rook b2, rook takes d2.
And basically two rook and
Rook and knight.
knight for a queen.
Yeah.
And plus a pawn, right?
Yeah. Still, I mean, you know, this is where these players, I mean, this is just such an elementary tactic. It's hard to believe that a strong expert, these players are woozy from...
So what did White play before
he
that?
played rook b1.
Oh, he played rook b1. Oh, great. Okay.
Instead of, you know, we were...
Instead of moving the queen
The
out of the way.
pundits were, yeah. I mean, before you play rook b1, you got to ask yourself, what's
Is
my
there
opponent going to do? Yeah.
Or are there any good discoveries?
And this is quite obvious.
Still, it's hard. It's technically hard for White to win that, for Black to win that, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Like Nick said, it's probably still close to even, but you'd rather have black, Nick, right?
Oh yeah, certainly. The queen has the winning chances in that position. So the Kevin Reese versus Clemens games got quite interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't Knight c6? Isn't Knight c5 now close to winning?
Well, I guess the black would not trade knights there.
Right.
The king ending must be winning for white, so black has to keep knights on the board.
I'd say it's still closer to a draw than a win for white, but white's...
I don't know. That pawn majority is stuck, right? So
Yeah.
you just play, f4, f5 real quick, and
Yeah. Well, maybe that black knight can get active, you know, somehow.
well, it's got to go to where's it going to go? It's going to go to c7, I guess.
Or
There.
b4 and underneath.
That,
One or the other.
that looks like a mistake.
Maybe, although knight f5 check is another annoying move, right? Forcing the king all the way back to f8.
Yeah, but I can just play king e6 here. Right. I mean, you're
Maybe black should play f6 here. I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
I would have gone knight c5.
Yeah.
Traditional route. I think Christian's going to escape now.
And these knight and 4 versus knight and 3 on the same side of the board, that's
I think that's a win for the attacking side.
no.
I actually had to defend one of those a
I
lot.
think that's well, it depends,
It's-
but
it's
I think
kind of
it's
a-
closer to a draw.
I don't know.
What do you think,
it's
Nick?
a pawn ending, right? In essence.
The knights are the best in the pawn up.
Yeah.
So that's no
That's no easy draw.
loss.
Okay. White actually put a pawn on b3, a square not the color of his bishop.
I like seeing all the pawns on
You
dark
know,
squares.
White has an interesting possibility of playing b5, and if c takes b5, c6, trying to undermine the a6 pawn, or if ab5, rook a7, in some distant galaxy, quite like the one we're in, you know.
You're trying to win with the white side. I'm not sure Daniel Wang's trying to win with the white side.
No, I'm just trying to point out something in the. Let's see how Sebi. Okay, so Sebi did not regain his piece, but played rook b8 instead, taking advantage of the fact that White can't really castle yet without losing the bishop on d2, and getting out of the way of knight g6. But White.
Ashwin just went queen c1, and
That's a nice move.
that's a bishop.
Queen a2 castles. It's late in the day to castle, but it's probably completely decisive.
Yeah, especially since you can't move your rook off the back rank.
Well,
Well, you can, but I mean, it's not. Yep. So I don't know if that's going anywhere.
Queen a3, Queen e3 is the is the antidote. And then what does Black do after Queen a3, Queen e3? Seriously, what does he do after Queen e3? Do you see anything, Nick?
It's
You
you can
return.
look for some c5 breaks.
You can return the rook to b6.
Yeah, but c5 break.
What if you return the rook to b6, threatening to take on c3?
Well, I mean, you could play c5, right? Right there. Queen e3, c5. Because you can't take it because of d4, right?
Well, is that true?
And if takes, then c3. So, I mean, he's getting kind of... You know, you can sack a couple pawns and...
You can't take
Oh, wait, but the
c5.
pawn is pinned. Never mind.
Well, yeah, it's pinned, but that's temporary. The king can still move to c6 or something. It's an interesting idea.
But probably like can sacrifice the exchange if you're getting too pawn.
Yeah.
There's also the idea of just returning the rook to b6, threatening to take on c3.
Okay. But then I just move the knight out of the way.
And then I go back to a6.
But, you know, rook b6.
And then the
It's a
players and so I think that could very well happen, knowing that Michael is often peaceably inclined.
You think it's just going to be... you just think they're going to repeat at this point? I don't know. I mean, you could also answer rook b8 with...
Rook c2.
yeah, that's right.
And queen a4.
And then queen d2, right? If you're playing for a win for white, for white.
I guess so.
But I guess after rook c2, knight e3 is actually a move.
Knight takes c3. You mean knight a3?
Knight a3 is actually a move at that point. Because you're attacking, you know, you can't take.
I guess it can move. The rook can move. All right, okay. It's like I feel like a clairvoyant sometimes. It's also that I know the players a little bit. So we could get a quick draw here with knight e2, rook a6, knight c1. It's possible.
So just for a thought experiment, is b4 even possible?
For example, on rook c2, maybe. Is pawn c5 possible?
No, I'm talking about for black. White's move here, right?
Yeah.
So what if and this could be suicide, but what if white plays rook? What if white plays b4? I guess the point is he doesn't have to take it. He just plays queen a3.
Maybe you could take it and play queen takes c3.
Yeah, but I have. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that check on c5 might be worth something at the end of it all, but maybe not because the king is still getting threatened with mate. So okay, b4 is bad. Never mind. So my guess is just plays knight e2, and that's what I would do.
Well, rook c2 is possible. Knight a3, then the rook moves to another square, but then I don't know. I'm getting a little bit puzzled. I think that players will probably.
So I'm thinking rook c2. You just play queen a4 and force the rook to go to.
And then you can move the rook.
Another square. That's right. Okay.
I think they're about to agree to a draw. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think that's right.
We'll come back to there in a minute. Let's see how Winslow is wrapping this game up. This is beyond hope for black, or nothing's beyond hope, but he did give up the queen for a rook and a knight. And now this is a very difficult position for both sides. For a difficult position for black to win and a difficult position for white to defend, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine that you're playing someone like Carlsen with white. Do you think you'd be able to survive that? I don't think so, right?
I think Carlsen would do everything in his power to try to win. I mean,
it just feels like a position where black has to play perfectly too many moves for it to pack.
You mean white does?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. That white would have to play perfectly.
Well, just shuffle around. The knight can go to e3. The knight has lots of nice little squares like e3, and the first thing I would do with black would be to trade a pair of rooks.
Right, if
for
you can.
Sure.
Yeah,
and that might be not as easy to do as like you said. So we're gonna see what happens. And black gets to play maybe c5 here. This is g6 just to hold back f5, but it's only temporary because white's going to play g4 here. And this game is, what do you think? Nick is back, and Nick is the one that
I've been following, and I think it's a draw. The Walder's game's a draw, and
they agreed to a draw.
I think they will.
Well,
yeah, I think they will. I called it, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is a draw. They're repeating moves.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're moving the thing back and forth. All right.
Well, they have repeated. Yeah, here they go. Yeah. A great result for both players here, I think.
So white's got a lot less time, right?
As well, yeah. But he's outrates his opponent.
But nicely played by Ed Lewis.
Yeah. And this game is just a slaughter, and black is definitely going to try to hold that, or we'll try. What about this game, the Cave and Reese game, Nick?
Yes, that's it. White's pawns are moving faster, but
well, what if we just play f6 as was suggested?
F5 check.
King d8, king to e7.
maybe trade the pawns first and then king to d7. Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to play something like f5 here, right? Because I suspect that would just leave you with too many weak pawns. Maybe not.
Yeah, probably heading for a draw too if black is careful. Wait a minute, how about knight e4 here, Nick?
Oh no, it's black to play here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Kristen's gotta be careful.
Yeah. Okay. And the game of 1,000 years.
You know, I one time had to direct a position like this once where, God, it was like, you know, there were every attempt to try to win was going to lose.
Well, black has some serious ideas here.
Black, you mean?
Yeah, black has some serious ideas here. You're going to double on the g file and play h, and then play h5.
Yeah, but
And trying to play h4.
Can I get g4 in before this happens? As white.
Now, the white king is sitting in a really bad spot. Put it on f2, and I would say that, you know, but what do you think, Nick? I think black has some ways to try to get in here.
You know, I don't really believe it. Black can pull on the file. I don't know where the white king is, but
And then
h5, maybe we can lock it up onto h4.
oh, after h5 is played, then white plays h4.
And you can trade, play rook g4, but then we just take it and still locked up on the king side.
And bishop e1 can defend the pawn on h4. Yeah.
Well, you know, white has to play a move here, right? So I guess he played, what, a non-script move like bishop c1?
Can you play h4 right away? Is that a good thing to do? No, not with the black king having access to h5. Probably not.
Well, you might
Okay,
be-
king h1.
Okay.
Or like you said, bishop c1 maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe king h1. Just, you know.
Then
basically
king g6, king h5? No, that'll be met by g4 check, I guess.
Yeah. Well, king h1 makes
Remember,
sense.
on bishop c1, black can throw in a5.
Well, you know,
You can play on that side of the board all of a sudden. Maybe. It's possible.
I'm thinking king h1 is the right move because at least it takes it eliminates all kinds of, it eliminates discovered checks. You know, you're allowed to play, you know, pawn takes pawn in some of those variations. So he plays king h1. And now, how do you increase the position if you're white, if you're black?
That's still some squeezing chances, and Christophe's the higher rated player, so.
Whoa. What happened here?
White's still winning though, right?
Yeah, but it looks like maybe... So knight e4 was played.
And then what did he do? He traded?
And maybe that still poses some problems. What do you think, Nick?
Losing that a pawn now.
So after knight e4, took, bishop went back to c1, and wham, he took the f pawn. super aggressive. I don't know if white's winning anymore after this. Maybe he still is, or should be.
Well, he kept his A pawn, right?
Which black could have taken, by the way, is with rook A2. But he went
Yeah.
straight up with rook G2.
Well, he probably figures he can get it next move.
You had to get rid of the G pawn to have real drawing chance.
Yeah, so he's played the right way. I think black has got some seriously good play here now.
Well, knight B3, right? That holds the pawn.
And then how about knight F2?
Castles,
Castles!
right? Still legal. It's still legal, isn't it?
Wow. Is it legal still? Amazing.
I'm assuming the king hasn't moved yet.
This has been a great fight, though.
Thanks.
If black can eliminate that A5 pawn, he's definitely got drawing chances.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go back up to Walder Lewis. And obviously this game has ended in a draw. Well, congratulations to both players.
Was a nice strategy by Lewis. Everything over to the queen side.
Yeah. Huh. Grandmaster draw. All right. And Elliot is on the road.
Well, he's giving up the B pawn, right?
Well, let's see. Rook C8 check is a big threat, I suppose.
No. I was thinking you should have played bishop F2.
I was
check.
thinking Queen F4, but that's not going to work either.
Well, I was thinking, instead of queen G6, take on F2 and then take on B2.
Yeah, but we got
Oh,
Rook
but then
C8
the check, right?
At the,
Yeah.
I have a feeling nothing was going to work. But
So he gives a check instead. So I guess we...
because you never know, it
Yep.
could be mate, Richard.
Yeah, that's true. But it isn't. Oh, well.
I think Elliot kind of has his choice of what to play here. Maybe knight G5
Or king F1.
or king F1,
That's the move I would pick, king F1.
king
Threatening
H.
the bishop on
Yeah.
H4, threatening rook C8 check.
Oh, yeah. Elliot's just a juggernaut lately. It's just, he's always the man to beat,
This is going to be a long
Yeah.
game.
Black needs to try to get a pair of rooks off the board, I think, right? What would your strategy be with black here, Nick? Just torture them to death? Hope they fall asleep and overlook some shot? What's the way forward here for black?
Yeah, move your pawn to H5, as you say. Maybe you'll trade rooks. It's nice to trade something. When the board is less crowded, the queen becomes more powerful.
All right, words of wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll see if the young genius knows what to do. Okay, so we actually got something similar, except for in this position, after G6, G4, black played F5.
He may end up regretting
And that seems to give white a protected pass pawn.
Also, that F5
And weakens
pawn.
your own pawn. So now any king and pawn ending is unless maybe knight b7 and intending knight c5 was better because now black gets this.
Knight G7 check puts up the pawn.
Well, So it's black to play here.
King F7.
And then you lose the B pawn.
Yeah. Totally wrong strategy by Christian here, I think, with F5. Instead, F6.
Move I would have tried. You know.
So F6, F5, takes, King E7. What about Knight C8 check there?
Don't they just play King D7 in that position?
And then I take
Then you
on
take
F6.
the pawn F6? Okay.
No, it doesn't work because you take my knight.
How do I get back?
Yeah, you
in
don't
time?
get back. I don't
Okay, so
think.
maybe on the check and C8, I just play King F8, King F7 instead. Just keep my pawn. Yeah, you get a protected pass pawn there, don't you? So maybe F6 is the wrong move too.
Well, then black. If that's true, then black should maybe not have played G6. Although that prevented Knight F5 as well, so maybe it was.
Check. Yeah, I trade. You play knight.
King E7, Knight C8 check. What do you think about that Knight C8 check move, Nick?
After F6. So
I guess the king can go to D7 too.
Well, we tried that. You take the pawn on F6 in that line.
But then I take your knight on D6.
And then F7, and how do you stop it?
What do you mean? F5, F6,
So
F5,
pawn
takes,
King.
Oh yeah, you have the pawn on.
On E5 takes on E7, F6, and then goes to F7 after you take my knight on C8.
No, yeah, but I'm not. I'm playing king to D7.
On F5 check.
On F5 check, okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
then can I just play F6, E6, direct, and just then I have it.
No, because I take your
Knight on D6.
I take your knight on D6.
Oh, okay, right.
So F6, F5 takes, king D7.
And then you probably have to play something like knight E4.
And then black can take on E5 finally.
Right, okay.
Pawns are even, white's still a bit better.
Yeah, but boy, you have to be accurate here. I can see you can get bamboozled so easily.
Yeah.
Okay, boy, this is a tough one. But he played F5 instead, and now he's in trouble. So he tries to get out this way. And now white has two passed pawns, but black is trying to run the B pawn up the board.
Yeah, but the problem is the king can stop it. Right.
Well, maybe if black can bring this knight around and attack that F4 pawn.
Yeah, but does he have time? I mean, we're going to play knight G7 check and take a pawn.
Yeah. Details. King D4, boom, boom. And now knight G7 check and knight F5. And then does black have a miracle there with... White's still going to have the C pawn at the end of all that, even if black does get the F pawn. But it's more pawns are coming off. What do you think, Nick? That's my favorite thing. What do you think, Nick?
This has got to be a win for white.
What, Nick?
I think Christian has blown it. Yes, white is winning this game.
Okay. I tend to agree with you.
And we're still thinking.
Black is in the think tank, and Sebi. This actually happened. Boom, castles, the miracle castles. And Elliot somehow squeezed out a win a piece ahead. I'm not sure. Oh, he's up 2 pieces ahead. Just an absolute miracle.
Well, no, he's only up 1, right? Mm-hmm. Here.
No, this game. This is not his game.
Oh. Yeah.
This is
Oh.
this is Black doing everything he can to try to hold on to this. It's not easy, but the white pieces are misplaced at the moment, or the white rook is.
That was a poor move, rook to f3.
Yeah. So
Could have done bishop d2.
Whatever.
yeah.
Gotten maybe the rook to a1 and puts the a pawn. So he
A pawn looks like it's still.
Ashwin's messing up his piece formation.
And here the game will go on for another 1,000 years. And all right.
Oh wait. Isn't bishop h3 strong here?
Well,
I think you're right, and he missed it. Or maybe rook d6. No, he missed bishop h3.
there's such a hatsy move. You'd be giving up a bishop for a knight.
Yeah, that was quite unfortunate. Black misses a simple tactic
It's
here.
not, I'm not the changes the result.
Well, no, but you're up a pawn, like you know.
Yeah, I mean, all right. The one thing I can see on bishop h3 is maybe rook d6, bishop e6, knight d4. Trying to take on e6, that would be pretty inconvenient for Black.
Yeah, but can't we just play rook to b6?
Rook e8 maybe. Yeah, rook b6. Yeah.
Something like that. Just.
An inconvenient truth.
Boy. Well.
Yeah, just we're finding new ways to explain old things. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well.
Nice to see you, Richard.
Yeah. Thanks. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting games.
Nice to see you, Elliot.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh wait, don't forget this. Oh, this is Abel's game. Okay. Nick, it's just you and me.
Back to where we started, yes. Well, been some good games, all fighting games this round. Oh, Luke actually resigned in that position. Fair enough.
Well, as Elliot pointed out, he's 2 pieces ahead. I stopped counting after 1 piece.
Oh, that's 2 pieces, and actually the bishop on a4 is in trouble.
Yeah, so, okay. So, this was... Black could have had the pawn at h3, so this has been a bit of a freaky game. And what can Black try here, Nick? Anything? It's interesting. White just played king c2 instead of taking the pawn at b2. But I'm sure there's going to be Zhuang problems for Black here.
So if you go knight to d3,
He played
then knight
h6. He played h6. White should have a way to win this, I would think.
just 1 pawn.
Knight to d5. Why didn't Black play knight d3?
I guess, yeah, knight d5 anyway.
Knight d5, yeah, so knight d5 is coming anyway. Threatening to take the pawn at b2.
But you sit there.
Yeah.
Just leave your knight on d3 until
Yeah,
further
exactly.
notice.
Exactly. This is a puzzling position. Maybe white should play to chase the H pawn.
Yes, that could be a good idea. Although, I mean, black can keep the knight on d3 for a while.
He must play it.
Yeah.
Knight d3. Where
down to 3 minutes.
where it attacks the f4 pawn and defends the b2 pawn. It's a perfect move. In fact, white might be putting himself in Zugzwang by playing knight d5.
We can always go king b1, king c2.
Yeah. Chess is curious games, curious positions that defy logic.
Yes, we had Christian, written off, dead to rights. One little slip and we're back in the game.
I don't see a way forward for white here, really.
Very tough, yeah.
And I mean, black even has moves like king d7 that sort of just pass, or king f7.
Yeah, so like pawn to h4. And,
funny position.
Funny how mutual can't do anything.
all right, Caden has screwed this up a bit.
Of course, the fact that white has an hour and black has 3 minutes might figure in.
Yeah, an hour versus 3 minutes, as Elliot points out. Elliot, who's standing behind me.
There's no camera?
There is camera. And this game, black is still looking for something substantial. H5 can actually be met by H4.
That's been an interesting mush.
And then there might not be a way to penetrate. All right. And finally, uh-oh.
We still got a piece. Oh no.
Rook b3, a7.
Yeah. That's
And rook a4, rook a1.
how perturbing. Whoops, wait a minute.
But wait a minute, what about knight f2?
I said, wait a minute. So what?
And now rook b3? No.
Still no good.
a7.
Hey, 7.
Uh-oh.
Is this the end of Rico?
This might be the... Wow, Sebi had a great chance in this game.
Yeah, that white a pawn finally got running.
Okay, back to Askin.
Oh, wait a second.
Hey, he finally saw bishop h3. And why white left that hanging, I'll have no idea.
Yeah, indeed.
Young
It's
players,
pawn. It's a nice kingside pawn.
yeah. This definitely tips the game severely into black territory.
Oh, no. If Jaden wins, he's a tie for first.
Better for black before the winning the pawn, but now we'll break up the king side.
King c2, king f7, and then knight f6, but then knight f4. And then
Take
king
knight G3.
b2, knight d3 check, and knight e5. So this is looking like a draw, I think.
Swarming pawns.
What do you
Plus,
think?
that knight to e5 was just not so good.
Yeah.
It seemed to me white had earlier a knight g7 checks and win that f5 pawn.
Yeah.
Could have just
It
taken
looks like
on
black
point.
has found the correct strategy here. All right, so what about c5? But then your knight is no longer knight c5, king b2, and then that might be the way for white to play. The white pawn is inching its way forward, and Sebi is running out of time as well.
Yeah. This was an almost game for Seti, and he almost won a beautiful attacking game, and then it's almost drawn it here. But
And this is looking quite grim for white now.
yeah, the little white A pawn.
And Askin versus Jaden Zhu, this is turned in black's favor with the winning of a crucial pawn.
Yes.
And Christian Clemens is trying to hold a miracle draw here.
Yeah, Kristen, hanging tough. 2 minutes on your clock.
And Christophe Bamboo. I don't know what's going on in this game, Daniel Wang. White is just playing back and forth with the king.
It's good. You don't get too flustered. You just make your move. On
And finally, Sebi plays rook a4, but it looks like it's knight e3 and then rook a4.
yeah, just rook a1 is the end.
Yeah. A new queen will appear on the board, or it'll cost black his rook. And white played it. Rook a1. Well, this was a bit of a miracle draw a miracle save. Back to David Askin and Jaden Zhu. And as soon as black is able to, I think maybe, even the exchange of rooks would be, of course, probably very favorable to black now, but also he can try to break up the king side or use the rook for an attack on the king.
Yes. Number of plans.
Yeah. So it's looking very good. And Christian Clemens, c5 was played, knight c5, king takes b2. So now what? Harass the knight at d5 and attack the pawn at f4.
Good. If you can go king e6, it looks like.
But what about knight f6?
Oh, okay. And so maybe that's enough because you lose that h5 pawn, and the knight there guards up 4.
Oh, no, because knight f6, black can play knight d3 check.
Which would check. Oh, and then that's the end.
Huh. So what about knight b4? I don't know. I don't think white can find a way to win this. but maybe.
Knight b4, interesting move. Just good defense. But move to king. Now, if you let the white thing come up, gives you real winning chances. Knight b4 is a great move.
How about black plays knight d7, trying for knight f8, knight g6. That might be able to hold it, right?
Aha.
Because the knight on g6 is fast. So knight d7.
Wondering, knight d7, could you have gone knight f6 and played the king end? Might have been a winning king end.
Oh, so white should have played knight f6 and knight d3 check?
Well, there I would have, well, there's your knight b4.
So now I'm trying to play knight d7 and knight f8 and knight g6 for black. He has to do something. God, he finds it. These players are geniuses.
Knight d7, king, knight f8.
And then black is going to take that h4 pawn, and boy, then surely the game will be even after that. Grab that h pawn. That's white does not want that to happen.
And 37 seconds, Christian is defending like a madman.
Okay, so what about knight f8, knight c6? Knight g6, knight d4 check.
And then king to b5.
Knight f5.
Take on f4.
Oh, yeah.
Going to be a draw.
Yeah. Well, this has been a good game. I'm hoping that he can keep it together.
Yeah, he deserves to draw after this road.
Nick, I'm going to have a chess man cookie.
Oh, I do deserve it.
See, everybody? Nick and I are chess men, and we're going to have a chess. Nick, would you like a cookie?
That depends which one. You have a pawn. You have black. Oh, there are no black and white in the cookies, are there?
No, let's see. I think I got a lowly pawn. That's very fitting. Nick. Everybody. I've got a lowly pawn.
Looks like poor Sebi lost on pawn. In a hopeless position.
Oh, yeah. And the white bishop is getting on this lovely c4 square. But that's probably not enough to hold this.
Yeah.
Oh no! And this might be enough to draw, but still, it's dangerous. Or maybe it's an easy draw. Knight takes e5. Very direct.
Just trying to wrap up all the pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that,
Maybe that's sufficient.
close enough.
Yeah.
And when you're really low on time, 13 seconds, it stops all the calculating.
Good move, I think. It looks to me like after fe5, king e5, the black king is going to get to neutralize the pawn on h4.
Can't stop it.
Yeah.
Can't stop it.
And this game, surprisingly, is going on, and Sebi got checkmated.
Oh, he still played that. Checkmate. Okay, well, Eddie, you made a great try, really interesting play. A couple little improvements here or there, and you'll just be playing like a chess master. But nice endgame play from Ashton.
And Jaden Zhu has put his rook on f6.
Ready to start attacking.
Well, it ain't over. So, and Christian Clemens is found the shot. Knight takes e5, and that should draw without too much problem.
Yes.
It's a little bit nerve-wracking to play like that, but it looks like, unless White can get his knight to g6 or something. So what about that? fe5, king e5, knight c6 check. King f4, knight e7. King g4, f4. Yeah, and then you can just attack the knight with king f5, right? Knight c6.
Looks like you're right.
Knight c6, king f4, knight e7, king g4, knight g6, f4, king over, king f5, with a perpetual attack on the knight. This is skin of your teeth stuff here, folks.
Yeah, it looks like he gets it.
Knight e7, king g4.
Or even king g3 and puts the up pawn. It's enough to draw.
Wow. Not hard to find f4 either, is it? So king over, and then the simplest move is king f5 and king g4.
Yeah, so that's good too.
Well, good save, but he's got seconds left on the clock, so we'll come back to that. This game is just grinding on. Both players have no mercy on us, Nick. They're just grinding it out.
Yeah, long game.
Wang and Bamboo. And so we're down to these three games.
Jaden Zhu.
Askin versus Jaden Zhu. Kevin Reese versus Christian Clemens, this is now a draw, obvious draw. And Daniel Wang versus Christophe Bamboo.
And Daniel is okay. He's hanging tough, going back and forth. But on the h4, going to break down the black queen side.
Why hasn't White played g4, h4 himself, and why hasn't Black played it? perfect time for black to play h4 now.
Yes.
And that might be close to winning.
Well, maybe he tries g4. Happens on h4, e4.
I take on f4.
Pawn takes.
Well, I like my passed pawn at e4 now, but...
Yes, although we're just going to put the bishop on e3.
Trying to make another pawn, huh?
Yeah.
Trying to promote your bishop to a pawn.
Guess that means it'll be a long game.
Yeah. Okay, back up to, and black plays h4 right away.
Oh, in asking against
Yeah. Uh-huh.
probably have to take that pawn.
Oh, yeah.
A little odd that that he's going to be able to do rook f4 and win his pawn back.
Still, he could have prepared that a little bit.
But this seems fine.
Yeah. What's going on here? Black goes the wrong way with the king. Well, it looks like the wrong way, or maybe it's the right way. Is white playing for the loss here, Nick?
Uh-huh. Yeah, trying to... Well, it's going to be a draw. Oh, 1 second. 1 second for Christian Clemens.
Well, yeah, with the 5-second delay means he has to make every move within 5 seconds.
And yes, he can do that.
So what's white's move here?
I mean, there's no good move. King to d2 is a try. But, ooh. King to
Pawn f2.
pawn f2. Ouch. And pawn king to e2. King to d2. Knight f4 check.
King g1. Knight h3 check.
Knight h3 check.
I mean, Christian...
That's still a draw.
Boy, I don't even want to watch this. This time differential is huge in that game.
Yes, you have to be so attentive.
Yeah. And Christophe is missing his opportunity here to play h4, although he must be examining it. And white did take on h4 in the Ask and Jew game, and rook f4 has been played. How you feeling, boss?
Oh, doing good. Just having conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God. I'll be right back.
So now the white king is a little bit more exposed.
Yes, still tough thing to win. You know, those rooks are sitting there. They're take that h4 pawn, getting rook g4 check. Tougher and tougher for the white side. And the black king is very safe.
All right, I'm going down to cave in. Oh, it's a draw.
Aha, okay.
That's a great result for a great game. Really good game. Exciting for so many moves.
Tough defense by Chris.
Yeah, that was amazing. Okay, we're down to 2 games. David Askin versus Jaden Zhu, and Daniel Wang versus Christophe Bamboo. Hey Nick, it's been a long ride with this commentary, but we need a little bit of a break. So
I'm for a break, and
yeah, it's been 3 years of nonstop chess commentary on Twitch, and the Mechanics Institute is going to rethink its broadcast, its commentary, chess commentary. We'll still be broadcasting the games on Chess 24, among other places, but we're going to give the live commentary a break.
yes. Still tune in to see Wiley Winslow and our cast of characters.
And of course, there's the newsletter and the Chess Cafe where you can interact, where you can see what's going on at the club and interact with us. So we haven't gone away.
Yes, our Chess Cafe is really interesting. You get some players from all across the country too, not just the Bay Area.
Yeah, and some real chess luminaries like Salmatera and Alexei Root are regulars on there, as well as, of course, yourself and Michael Walder and Elliot Winslow, and a revolving cast of characters. So join us at the Chess Cafe.
Bring your own coffee. So how about in the room there?
Well, I'm looking out. There's still people playing chess. They're not always on the digital boards, but we can see players in the foreground that are not on the DGT boards still playing. And of course, there's the other half of the room that we can't see at all, but we know is there. So, and here is Askin versus Jaden Zhu. And I'm going to take a 3-minute break, Nick, and I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
It's these games that
I'll leave it here for this
still
position.
developing. That's still the two games, Daniel Wang, Christophe Bamboo, and the one we're looking at, David Askin, Jaden Zhu. It's but it's so easy for Jaden Zhu to play the black side. And just because there's no threats for white. You're just sitting kind of defensively. And that white king is just getting a little more exposed. And Askin has the thought, well, is he gonna pawn to h5 and give black a pass pawn, which will advance? At least that exposes the black king a little bit, but again, not very much. And then that black pawn would get to h4, and if it gets to h3 and where it's supported, it can become very dangerous. Or you can just say, hey,
Hi Nick, how are you?
what? You didn't play a game also, did you, Judith?
What was that?
Abel managed to get in a game. Did you?
No, I didn't play today. No, I'm too tired, and I guess I don't think I have the attention today. But and nobody needed an extra game. I know Richard Atkins had a full point buy, but somebody called in, so we got him we got him a game, and nobody else needed a game. So, but I'm always down for an extra game. So,
Oh, good.
how's
Good.
everyone?
That's so friendly of, that you and Abel will just accommodate people who show up, make sure that if they come, that they get a game.
Yeah, and I think that's good, and it really shows when the other one is here, then I can concentrate on the game, or Abel can concentrate on the game, and then we'll.
As the direct and the
It's gonna
player.
log in.
Well, I gotta go.
Yeah. Oh, he forgot to move his car.
Oh no.
Hopefully he can get out.
You mean he can get out?
Yeah, because that's parking.
He's in a garage with a
Yeah.
that closes at a certain time.
Yeah, I hope it closes at 11. If not, then somebody he has to. Well, he can sleep here, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
mechanics is yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, there in the Mechanics Institute, there's all sorts of rooms. It's big building, and kind of hidden rooms and things, and
Yeah,
room 2.5 you could always sleep in.
Gives room 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, I know. And there's a couch there, right?
So we have to have a conversation. A lot of conversations.
Yeah. Anyway, but how's let's.
No, Jaden Ju should win this position,
Yeah. Wow.
and what else is going on?
What else is so?
There's only one other game, I think, and that's the Christophe Bamboo
Oh,
game.
that's a draw. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Let me set it actually. I
Um,
don't think he set it yet.
H4 is the move here. And Nick was suggesting pawn to G4 here, but white should have played pawn to H4. And it was obvious that black was going to try this. Is this still holdable, Nick? Maybe.
No, okay, it's if pawn takes h4, pawn takes f4 looks really powerful.
And but I was wondering about that. Like, okay, so you take on f4. I exchange. Oh, I can't play rook g6 yet. I have to take on f4.
Yes.
And then I guess you exchange the rooks.
Looks like they have to get. Well, I don't have to exchange both of them then.
If you're black, what are you going to do there?
Let's say I do exchange both of them and bring my king up to h5 and win that h pawn maybe with bishop.
Well, that's what I was afraid of, that you were going to come around and take that pawn with the bishop.
And then I wonder if you get into Zugzwang. There can be Zugzwangs in those positions. So not 100% sure it's winning, but very unpleasant for white. And that's why I'm wondering is the defense pawn to G4 better? Just trying to
Try to bust your way out.
yeah.
Well, how about we leave it to the players and go and see what's
So
happening?
is it a drawish?
No, we think it's black is much better, but
Okay.
or is definitely
Christophe?
is better. Yeah,
Christophe? Okay.
yeah. And this game
Yeah.
is winning for black,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's going to require some time, and so.
But Jaden is good under pressure. We know that.
Yeah, no, and Askin is.
And he's 1 more year older, wiser, right?
I think black is going to find a way to win this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other game is this, and white's in some trouble here. And White's just continuing to play this passive, in this passive manner.
So it's interesting, Daniel Wang, he's moving to, I think, New York.
Oh yeah,
And so I think this is one of his last games at Mechanics.
at the Mechanics.
So we kind of took a little bit of, not mercy, what's the expression, pity,
Pity.
and entered him into the TNM for
How old is he? He's a grown
20
Mhm.
something. So yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
he's not. This game, he's been having a hard time. His opponent's pushing him relentlessly.
Well, Christophe is a really good player. He was runner up last TNM, right?
Mhm. And he's won a couple of
Tournaments,
tournaments here.
Yeah.
So he's if you don't put Winslow in the tournament, then he's one of the people to beat.
Favorites, yeah.
But he
Yeah.
still hasn't been. He's like Theo.
Yeah.
Hasn't been able to kind of break through the barrier.
Yeah. Theo is interesting player.
I don't know him that well, but
Yeah. What made you think of him?
because these players that hang at the 2100
Yeah.
right under
Yeah.
master, and I did that for a year. I remember and I remember what I did to jump.
What did
To
you
make
do?
the jump. Well, I studied chess in a certain concentrated way that was pretty much guaranteed to make me stronger. You know,
Okay.
I rededicated myself to the game, and also. And I was more serious. I was like, I don't want to hang here at this 2100 level. I want to jump up, and it worked. Part of it is rewiring your brain to be more aggressive. I think
Wow, interesting.
is you have to just play everybody as though you're going to beat them, master whatever. It doesn't matter. So that really helps.
I see.
If you can do that.
Yeah. It's
Chess is a sporting element.
I mean, I obviously don't know chess, right?
Yeah, you do.
I've witnessed Theo playing this past weekend at Golden.
How did you do?
I don't know how he did actually. So I can have to check.
And then
check, but I know he had a few tough games, and it's just yeah. Anyway,
and
I'll have to check.
so there's that, and then there's studying so that you're kind of
Yeah.
and playing a lot, playing people stronger than you, grabbing all the opportunities you have to play
And
people stronger
he
than
did
you.
that. He played in the Open, and it was
Yeah.
a strong tournament, the Golden State Open. And I'm wondering how regularly he meets with his dad. Do you know?
I don't know at all.
Yeah, I've never met his dad, and he lives
I
here.
knew his dad pretty well.
Yeah, and he lives here. It's so
I've
strange.
played his dad a bunch of
He
times.
should come up here.
I would love to see Peter here.
Let's invite him
Yeah, sure.
to do a lecture.
He has sight issues.
Okay.
I think he's maybe blind. Do you know about that, Nick? Have you seen Peter?
It was getting worse and worse. I don't know what the
Maybe I'll
situation-
ask Theo gently to see if he thinks that his dad would be up for a visit here. But
I would really like to see him. He's I just remember him as being.
is it okay? Okay, let me.
Good guy, strong chess player, grandmaster.
David has broken through. David Aston made an impressive move, and it was a mistake. allowing Jaden this nice counter, just going straight for the checkmate. And
Ooh.
that's going to win a pawn, and he's going to get both the F pawn and the H pawn. Rook G4 check, just too powerful. Can't go rook G4, G4 check.
So you have to interpose a piece on G3, and then you lose both pawns.
Yes, and then the two pass pawns should be easy win there for Jaden. Yeah, has to play rook on 7 to D3.
And then rook G4 check is the end of the game, or should be. Rook
Yeah.
G3 takes Queen G3,
Yes.
and Queen H4.
And the black pawns then just start
Yeah.
easy win after that.
Jaden
Nice.
Zhu is turning into a strong chess player.
Indeed.
You know. And he knew what to do in this position too, with the H5,
Yeah.
H4 move, and so on.
Very nice.
He missed the tactic taking on H3 once, but he didn't miss it twice. So
Yeah.
we have to give him credit for that. Well, this is completely hopeless.
But Daniel Wang, it looks like you're going to get that ending for long. That White has to, or Black has to take on F4. All the rooks get traded, and
then the black bishop has to come to H4 and try to penetrate and put white into Zugzwang. Now this is completely hopeless here.
yes. Oh,
White decided to give up the bishop and the rook to avoid the other issues.
right, well, that should just be technique.
Okay.
Fighting games all the way through. It's strange when you look at the Vicons tournament, they're fine games, but other players, they just play so close to the best, and you get so many draws.
Nick, you're going to be in the office on Thursday.
Yes.
All right, so at least one pair of rooks are coming off here.
Would take fix, would take a fix, and then maybe White should not trade the second pair, because one of the black can decline it and just take on E3 at these pass pawns.
Yeah, that's 3 pass pawns. So if rook takes G6, F takes E3, but the rook can go back to G2.
So you go back to G2, you take the bishop, and on D2, which the white rook takes, and then how fast are those black pawn on the F4? A little risky.
Yeah, risky. I agree. Risky. Risky
Yeah.
business.
And maybe only a draw if you give up the range. Whereas rook takes g6, king takes g6, pawn takes f4. Black may still have good winning chance.
He's thinking about it. And meanwhile, Black, faced with the rook check, is playing the king over to the queen side, which looks like a good idea, or up the middle. And I don't see how white is going to be able to hold this at all. First, black will force him off the fourth rank and win the a4 pawn, probably. The white rook has no secure spot. When king e5 is already putting... What do you think, Nick?
Yes, I mean, it's impossible to play defense.
Yeah. It's just too much dislodging possible here. And black is still thinking about taking on e3 or taking on g6 here.
Yeah, that's king on e3.
Let's look at that again.
Pawn takes e2, rook takes e2.
I'd say this is all fine and dandy, but that pawn at h3 is concerning me too.
Yeah, it's probably you just have to take the rook. And then it's still very serious winning chances. Take the rook, white recaptures on f4, the black king comes to h4, the black bishop comes to d8, over to h4, and maybe Wang gets into g3, and
so the white king on g2, black bishop on h4, white bishop on e3. Black can play bishop e1 and take the pawn at b4.
you have to leave the white bishop on d2.
Where the white king is on f2, so that black can't play bishop f2, right?
Like the king has to be on f1 or g1 or something.
Yeah.
Stop the bishop from coming in. But maybe that's just a draw. Range. It looks like black deserves to win the game, playing such good aggressive play, but maybe not enough in the position.
Oh, wow, what's happened here? Is white getting some kind of fortress, Nick?
Ooh, allow that rook to come to g4. Wasn't the most clever thing.
Yeah, so here when rook went to g4, maybe this was the time for black to think about, I'm not sure. So maybe king g2. King e5. Was there something better maybe? Queen d1, trying to prevent rook g4. Well, let's see what we've got here.
Now, I think the white queen could go to, say, c back, king to g3, and then queen to e2 to
Yeah.
f,
So
g1.
So should white still be getting in Sichuan here in our game?
Yeah, I think black still wins this. It's not, there's enough
The
room.
queen comes around to g1.
Yes, queen comes around to g1. Queen e2 to f1 to g1 check. King has to go to h3. Okay. Oh, queen e2, rook to f. Oh, rook f4 check. Oh, that would, and then rook e4 checks. King g2.
You know, there are a few fortressy positions that are holdable. Now, I'm not saying this is
Yeah.
one of them, but
I don't think this is one of them.
so what does black do? He plays queen g1 check, and then let's say king h3. Let's say you have this position with the queen on g1, king h3, king. Now what do you do? Play queen h1 and then what?
Well, if the black queen can come to f2,
That's
white king on h3 couldn't guard the f2 pawn.
I see. And that would be the end of Little Rico.
Yes. I was still doing it.
Okay. And you know what, Nick? He sacrificed the exchange.
He did not believe in the other ending, which was probably a draw.
So black play, yeah. So this is a way to play for a win. Or to play for a loss. How would you describe it?
Yeah, it's
Rook g2, f3.
5 maybe.
Very, very scary. Of course, white has 2.5 minutes. White plays king g2. So this is now the black king should probably race up to h4, right? What do you think? But if the white rook gets behind the pawns and attacks everything from behind, black could be in trouble.
Yes, it's very sharp bishop.
I like this, bringing the king up into the middle. Boy, oh boy. Players are going all out. Meanwhile, board 3, Jaden Zhu is
Yeah, also Jaden's down to 4.5 minutes, so. But he should be able to win this 4.5 minutes.
Akko, hello. If the pawns were off, which position? This Caven Reese. What if there were no A pawns in this position? Still a win for black, huh?
Probably still that white queen's gonna get to F2.
The black queen's going to get to F2. Oh. Yeah, by force, right? Queen F1, Queen G1, and Queen F2.
Yes. I mean, first after Queen F1, at least white can get some checks, and the black king around or some, but it can hide back on behind the G pawn. And that just delays the inevitable.
Delays the inevitable.
Yeah, he plays it.
Queen versus rook is a win for the queen.
If there are no pawns at all.
Right. I think that's maybe the question that Akko was asking, but I don't think...
Oh, look at how Christophe plays. Nice and aggressively. And,
I think white erred with King G2.
yes. Yes,
He just put his king in the firing line. It's still going to be a little bit touch and go here. Rook G1, King F4. Well, then King F, Rook G4 check. So what happens after Rook G1, Nick?
well, sorry. Rook G1, don't you have king to F4?
No, Rook G1. With the pesky Rook G4 check. Maybe that pawn at H3 is standing just in the right spot.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Nice spot for a rook on
Oh
G4.
no, what happened? He played Rook to D1. And
Oh, the rook was on D2.
oh. Okay.
But anyway, rook to G1. Rook to G1, pawn to E3, check, king to F1, maybe king to D4. You get your rook to D4 check, but the king comes to D3.
And that's got to be the end of Little Rico.
It seems, yes, that white H pawn is just too slow. And there's 2 pawns on the 6.
Wow.
Nice play by Christophe.
Yeah, Christophe brings it home. So, yep. No way out. And Jaden Zhu has found the plan. Queen F2 looks like Zitz Wang. No, he's going out to H2.
Well, it's okay.
Now the rook oscillates between E4 and G4.
It still does that, yes. I mean, I would have put the queen on F2, so.
Yeah, that was better. I think you're right. He should have put the queen on F2. But then he has to do something.
46.
Are you looking for last pawn mode?
Yeah, but we're still a long way.
And the chess
Did you want
I'll have one more.
the chess cookie?
2 chess cookies, yeah.
Do we have more?
I think, is there more? Oh,
Yeah.
there's a whole box in. A whole box of chess cookies.
Let me have one, just one.
Oh, I'm growing up in the world, folks. I've got a bishop.
And I got a rook.
I started off with a pawn.
And rook. So you got 2 rooks.
Abel's got 2 rooks.
Well, JV could have won by putting the queen on F2 and there was Zook swans. But now he's got to reset. Face that, maybe it's not hard to reset. Queen G1 check, King E2.
Well, eventually you can play Queen E1 check and Queen F2. So,
Here he goes queen to G2 and then queen back to F1. It's still winning, but F2 is the square that queen belongs on, and then the defense tightens up, and then you could bring the king to H5 around the horn. King F6, King G7, put the pawn on A5, and you get a Zugzwang between the A pawn and the F3 pawn. Yeah, with a minute 42, not clear at all that Jaden Zhu will win this.
yeah, I agree. This was very clever by David Askin to go into this.
Yes, okay.
I mean, he transformed a lost position into another lost position. One lost position into a different kind of lost position.
But a difficult loss position.
Yeah. Oh no, he plays G5. And that fails tactically, right? To rook G4. Oh, he's got Queen H2 check.
E5?
All right, so now he has to win the F pawn.
Oh, that's trade pawns.
Yeah, I don't see the point of that. He's still now the king has to cross the barrier of the. How can the king cross over? Can you put him in Zugzwang again?
Okay, now that it's getting more and more difficult, and he's down to 45 seconds. Yes. Defense is easy. Rook G4, Rook E4. Move your king if you can.
Yeah, it's almost like he's given up hope of winning this or something.
Yeah. Oh, nicely done by David. He hung tough.
He did what he had to do.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the peanuts.
This is the devil's cookie.
The devil's cookie. So, Nick, I need to ask you some questions about the way you're submitting stuff to the newsletter.
Oh, okay, for the starting, yes, the newsletter afterwards. Why don't we, do you have chess base?
We'll try to coordinate a discussion about that, I think.
Okay, yes, we'll do that. We can talk with Judith and Elliot about,
Yeah.
format.
I mean, we just have to produce it in some way. You know.
I'm sure that's easy.
Yeah, there should be a workable solution. And now we're going to get a draw here with he plays Queen E4.
Okay.
Wow. A dramatic finish here. David
right.
Askin escapes by the skin of his teeth. Amazing.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
But Jaden was down to 10 seconds, so.
Jaden was winning and has given the game up for a draw. So he'll learn a lot from this game, particularly if he goes over the techniques that Nick was talking about to win this game.
He played a great game to get the winning position. But,
Yeah.
and then we see great defense from Askin to, just
Yeah,
hold
very
it.
cleverly went from one lost end game into another, but it was the right lost end game to play for.
It was excellent choice. Because the other, even though materially it was less down, it was very easy for the black side to play.
The opening, what was the opening to this game, Nick? Do you remember?
Oh,
It was a Queen's Indian.
okay.
I'm back at the beginning here. Queen's Indian.
Funny how they're playing this out to the end.
Yeah, sort of like the big boys do now, right?
Well, this one's a little too drawn. I'm going to stalemate it.
I'm having trouble with my mouse. I'm having trouble with the mouse. I can't move anything.
And there is our stalemate.
They drew.
And what's going on with Daniel Wang and Christophe Bamboo?
Christophe won.
Has a winning position.
Okay.
Folks. Abel. Final words?
Yeah.
This is the end of our broadcast, or our commentary for a while for the Mechanics Institute.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have the live commentary back. We'll still broadcast the games online. But so this will be my last tournament directing as chess director for the TNM. And I was telling you guys earlier just the amazing team of people that I have and coaches and everything. It's I think I get a lot more credit than I deserve.
I don't think so.
And no, it's just Jude Akers, who he sent me an email when I was when I announced that I was leaving, and he was saying it was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, I mean,
and
we've had some legendary chess directors, and you're right up there with the pantheon. I mean, like leading us through the pandemic and everything else, and these
yeah, you know, it's
incredible events.
We did some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
In the 3 years, you know, just the stuff we did here and some of the events that we had, but then our international matches during the pandemic with
Getting Caruana here.
and then you know, we had Mamediyarov and Mamedov and that tandem simul, and all the stuff we did online. You know, just sort of leading the way in terms of doing that. Like, big thank you to Judith. Like, you know, she was not only a big part of having the online events, but like making the rules for
It's incredible.
for the online events. But
Truly remarkable.
it's, you know, it's all a big team effort. And I hope the people that are watching and following what we do, you know,
Somebody's asking where you're going after this.
so I'm going to be the chess director at Hamilton School. It's a K through 8 public school in Nevada. They're actually having a dedicated chess program director position. They want to organize a team to compete at states and nationals and what have you. So I will be starting there February the 1st. So right away. But, you know, 15, 20 minutes for mechanics.
Yeah,
and,
we expect to see a lot of you.
yeah, I'll still be here, still be playing, TNM weekend, occasionally tournament directing.
And your job is also to slap me upside the head every once in a while, make sure I'm staying in line. You know?
Yeah, I'll say, hey, you know, obviously I can't do that with regards to your analysis of the position, but I'll say, hey,
Well, you can slap Nick upside the head.
can you center yourself a little bit more? But no, it's been a great ride, and like I said, you never know how things will go, but you know, mechanics is definitely in the blood. It's my club, and always going to be a part of it. So,
and hopefully that answers your all questions. But you know, it's kind of appropriate that we're going dark for a little while in terms of the commentary, with you leaving.
Morning period.
A mourning period. Yeah.
like the death.
Exactly.
The death.
Yeah. I mean, a deep hibernation.
But I will say, like with all things that appears like death, there's always the opportunity to rise like a phoenix from the ashes, right?
Doors open and close.
It's always darkest just before the dawn.
And by the way, Abel won his game tonight, folks. There's the proof, the score sheet.
I did.
And so...
And that's a very good question. So Adam Stafford's asking, who's the next director? The short answer is that at the moment they are not going to be hiring. I think a lot of people know who the obvious leading candidate choice is. I'm hoping the right thing will happen, and we'll see. And I hope the chess community keeps following and see, because
They're very interested. We were
they're
at the
good.
Chess Cafe yesterday. That was like one of the first things. Charles James was like, I heard Abel's leaving. You know, who's going to be director? And I stated that I was not interested in the job. So I'm on record as saying I'm not going for the chess director
So
job.
even me saying like, oh, who I think the leading candidate, it's with the knowledge that you weren't part of it. Right? So, but anyway, yeah, just keep following us, keep tabs of what we're doing. You know, the tournaments go on, and hopefully after a little bit of time, the commentary will be back.
Better, stronger commentary.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm looking forward to taking some of the stuff that we learned here and bringing it to the kids. We started a Twitch channel for Hamilton, and we're gonna be
Total sense. Oh, some kids commenting. Oh, that'd be so
we'll
great.
be streaming some the kids events, and
Send us a link.
and maybe even have over time have the kids comment on the kids,
And,
right?
Yeah, and you need a field trip down to the club.
Oh, that's already the participating in Mechanics Scholastic tournament is going to be an absolute requirement.
Oh, I see. That's coming up in April. That's right.
And so yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to show the kids the mechanics way. So we'll have the next generation learning through us. So, all right, everyone.
Yeah, folks, thanks for being along on this part of the ride. And we'll see you soon. I'm Paul Whitehead.
I'm Abel Telemontes,
And
chess
that's
director,
Nick DeFermian over there.
3-time U.S. champion.
3-time U.S. champion.
And the doctor, Judith Starry, out
on the field.
as you can see in the in the chess.
She's taking care of business.
And we will see you again, hopefully soon.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.